out who deserve to be with us, yes, for sure. Is there a way back into this, into the team through performance? 100% for sure.
Also not involved for the games against Wales and Latvia are Foden, Grealish and Wharton. Saka and Stones are back from injury. Spurs confirm Rodrigo Bentancur's signed a new long-term contract at the club. They haven't said exactly how long it's for, though. Arne Slot says he'll be surprised if Alisson's fit for Liverpool's first game back after the international break. The Brazilian was forced off in Tuesday's Champions League defeat to Galatasaray with a hamstring injury. The manager says Mamardashvili is a more than capable replacement in the meantime.
We've seen against Southampton how well he's adjusted. We knew that we were bringing in a very good goalkeeper, but when he plays his first game, that's always the best way of seeing that he's adjusted well or not. And I think we've seen in that game that he's adjusted really well.
And out in India, England's women are flying in their Cricket World Cup opener against South Africa. John Norman is watching for us.
Yes, England on the verge of a real statement win. First game of their World Cup campaign against South Africa, and they need 32 runs, 10 wickets in hand, 40 overs remaining. All of that after they bowled South Africa out for just 69. Lindsay Smith, the pick of the bowlers, 3 wickets for just 7 runs from her 4 overs, including 3 of the first 4 to fall. South Africa never recovered. England 10 overs into their run chase, 39 without loss.
Thanks, John. There's more on our website at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
A victim of yesterday's synagogue attack in Manchester was shot by police as they tried to target the killer. And Dame Sarah Mullally has been named as the first female Archbishop of Canterbury. There'll be more from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit, your go-to destination for quality tyres from great brands like Continental. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Cloudy, damp and breezy. Storm Amy's coming in from the west, bringing strong winds and heavy rain. In the north this afternoon, those winds will be strong and damaging.
This is Paul Hawksbee, and hiding it into the studio about 10 seconds ago because he was gassing with someone outside. Andy Jacobs, thanks for popping in, Andy.
Oh, well, it's a pleasure.
Well, we're with you through until 4. So, Andy, please tell us what's coming up.
Well, coming up over the next 3 hours, former Forest frontman Stan Collymore gives us his take on those Ange out chants, and the England squad. We'll wonder if Celtic were victims of the worst VAR decision ever. They were. And ex-Scotland striker Ross McCormack looks back on a good week for Villa, but a mixed one for Rangers.
We're also after more of Andy's nonsense by numbers. He'll bring us those later on. And F1 Simon Lazenby chats about his new book and looks ahead to steamy Singapore.
There's all this plus the clips of the week, the Falls panel, and signed Pope baseball under the hammer in Todd Mlin's American Sports Roundup.
The Pope has signed a baseball. He's a baseball fan, of course, but someone's got the Pope to sign a baseball, and he's going to make a few quid out of it. I hope he's going to give it back to the church. I doubt if the fella is. We'll find out later on. $10,000, though. $10,000.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Anyway, that's all coming up. Approaching 5 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy.
Yes, good afternoon, Paul. Sorry about my late arrival.
Okay, you were chatting to one of the bosses.
I was.
So it technically would have been their fault if you'd forgotten you were on air.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Producer had to come and slap me out of the studio.
Yeah, tremendous. Great.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Yes. I enjoyed this from the Court Circular yesterday. The Duchess of Gloucester.
Oh, yeah.
She visited the Music in the Round at the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield.
Tremendous.
Yeah, and then knocked off a quick 147.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
Be good, wouldn't it?
It's
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah. I don't know who is the Duchess of Gloucester? Which member of the royal family is the Duchess?
I don't know her personally.
No, but it's probably someone who we know, but we don't know the title. Okay, let's have a look at the Duchess of Gloucester. Not a pub, I take it. The Duchess of Gloucester is... Oh, okay, yeah, I don't...
It's that one, is it?
It's Birgit, the Duchess of Gloucester.
Oh, yeah, you go. She is good at snooker.
Yeah, that's fantastic. She takes a rest with her everywhere. It's marvellous, isn't it, really?
Exactly. She did have the yips at one point, but she...
Yeah, it's such a shame. She got over that. She does. She had a little period on Big Break when John Virgo was on holiday.
Can you imagine? It'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
We've often remarked on the excellent PR work by the World Conquerors.
Well, I'm afraid I did all this yesterday.
Did you? This
Yeah.
tremendous.
They've done it again, haven't they?
Yeah,
They've done. I just said they should be employed by the people that do the press for Strictly and the X Factor. No one can plant a story like the World Conquer
It's
Championship.
incredible, isn't it? I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
And the BBC have let the boat race go to Channel 4. I'm sure you saw that yesterday.
I did see that. Yeah.
I mean, they've denied the BBC saying it was a touch elitist, so, but they're right. It is a touch elitist. It's very
yeah.
elitist. I mean, I go and watch it every year. It is Britain's worst spectators.
Although I did miss the post-race phone-in with Jamie and Jason. Has anyone seen Oxford? Fantastic. Inspector Morse. Hello, lads. Great show. I've just come back from the riverbank.
It's true.
Another bunch of 35-year-old hedge fund managers from America. Messed up. I can't believe we lost, lads. The phone-in was always fair. It used to get very spicy.
Yeah.
He's got to go. The Cox has got to go. They'll have a Cox. I haven't watched it for ages anyway.
Oh, they do have a Cox.
Oh, yeah, good. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Because they normally...
Cox has got to go. I'm not going to use the phrase I wanted to use, but the Cox has got to go.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
They used to throw them in the river, but they can't now because the river's too polluted.
Great, isn't it? What a
Tremendous.
glorious nation.
Oh, we are.
Fantastic.
And Malcolm in Ipswich wrote to the Sun.
Who's he?
Some bloke who wrote to the Sun.
Okay.
This thing that where you can't congratulate a woman's sporting team without knocking the men. I don't know what is wrong with these people, but they do it all the time. First the Lionesses, now the Red Roses.
Yeah.
Well done, all of you. All right, that's where the letter should have ended.
Okay.
You proved that females can better the male species.
Okay. That's a huge can of worms that have been opened by Malcolm in Ipswich. Little did he know.
You don't
The
really-
male species.
Yeah, well,
Anyway, we got more of our. Andy has been numbering this sort of rubbish that he brings us, and it goes
Well,
up.
I haven't numbered the fresh. That's the fresh rubbish.
That's the fresh
I've got
rubbish.
the stale rubbish is numbered.
Okay,
The old
good. All right, well, we'll have a few more of those a little bit later on. We're going to talk to Stan Collymore. Stan was at a do last night. He watched Forest unfold with a lot of Forest fans and indeed his old teammate Brian Roy. And he has some views on what he witnessed and the way forward for Ange. I kind of seen that film before.
Oh, yeah.
No marking from 2 balls into the box and then just a free run through your midfield. Yes, I've been that
And
soldier,
the press
Forest
conference
fans.
just felt like felt like a Spurs.
It did
press
feel
conference.
like a Spurs. Yeah, I mean, I think a pretty decent question. They lost Murillo very quickly. He's, arguably their best defender. Just come back from an injury. He's asked by TNT Sport, did it have a material effect on the game? He just said no. Probably did, didn't it?
Yeah, I know.
Maybe losing your best defender.
He's very prickly, isn't he?
Yeah. Again, not making a great deal of eye contact. But anyway, sure. I mean, not that I'm suggesting at all, as Mr. Parry would say, but short-lived jobs. We're interested today. What a good day to let's have your short-lived jobs. Can you out Ange? So the thing is with Marinakis, do you know, like we're seeing with Russell Martin now, and to an extent Amorim, that making a change is a reflection on the board. It looks bad on them. It strikes me that Marinakis doesn't care about that. If he doesn't like what he's seeing from the stand, he'll make a change, and he won't care about the optics of it. So that's Ange's only problem. But we'll get it's not his only problem. But we'll get Stan's take on it later.
From that moment that he came on the pitch and he kind of undermined Nuno, then the game was up.
Yeah.
Such a stupid thing to do.
I don't know. I think they survived that. The biggest problem was bringing in Edu and Nuno not liking the way that structure was in place, and maybe
I don't think that was a great look.
some elements of control that he lost, and he didn't have the ear maybe of the owner quite so much. But that's the trouble when you make a change of manager, because if you make a change of manager when things aren't going well, when people don't like the manager, they say, "Oh look, give the fella time, it can't be any worse than what we had before." But the fans particularly didn't want Nuno to go, I don't think, in the main.
Surprising.
Well, let us know, Forest
He's a good
fans.
manager. You saw the improvement in West Ham. I mean, obviously, it's going to be a struggle for tomorrow for them, but you'd fancy West Ham to improve beyond recognition. They certainly looked at it the other night. And
yeah, you saw that he was kind of even a couple of training sessions getting to grips with a few things. But anyway, we'll talk to Stan about that and the England squad. We have the England squad, of course, today, and I think the Wharton, especially Wharton for Loftus-Cheek, does kind of feel.
It doesn't make any. I like Loftus-Cheek as a player,
but
you can't compare them.
Does seem a bit of an odd one, really. Somebody who's playing at the cutting edge in the Premier League, and Loftus-Cheek, who'd not been playing particularly well from what our Italian expert was telling us after he was selecting for the last squad. But anyway, we'll get Stan's take on that. We're going to hear from Faye Carruthers very shortly. She's been chatting to Thomas Tuchel this afternoon, and we'll get her take on the squad. Some of the messaging from him, we'll get Faye's take on that, because, you know, he says, look, there's a way back for all of these guys. There's got to be, hasn't there? Foden, no Foden.
Foden's a brilliant player.
I mean, Grealish... Look, who knows? Look, we got one friendly. It might have been nice to have seen Jack Grealish in a squad, but if he's not getting in this squad with a friendly and Latvia away, when's he going to get back in?
I was impressed with Rashford, though, the other night.
Yeah.
That's the best I've seen him play for a long time. I mean, he was all right for Villa, but he was excellent for Barcelona.
Right. Well, he's getting a tune out.
That was a good game, though. I really enjoyed that, man.
We're going to chat with Kevin Hatchard later on. We may touch on that match. What did we learn from this week in the European competitions? And were Celtic victims of the worst VAR decision ever? I mean, it feels like it's right up there, doesn't it?
It's just hard to work out how it happened. It's just so wrong. It's amazing. It's incredible.
If you haven't seen it yet, Iheanacho scores what looks a perfectly good goal. There's no definite angle. If they've got an angle at UEFA which shows it hitting the arm, fine, but it doesn't look like it hits the arm at all. It hits his chest and goes past his
face,
arm.
really.
It's his face, yeah. So, but there's no evidence. All we've seen is a still. Yeah, and from this still, his arm's in line with it. But it hasn't hit his arm. And every angle you watch it from, the ref gives it in real time, and the VAR backs up a bad decision, which is hateful, isn't it? That's surely not what it's there for. So anyway, we will be chatting to Kevin Hatchard about that. Generally, we've said this before. I mean, I think they find the Conference League referees in the pub before kickoff, are press ganged into it, hit over there and put into a sack, and then driven to the ground and told the referee. They're relentlessly terrible.
Yeah, the one we had the other night for the Benfica game was
the standard of refereeing, especially in I mean, not so much in the Champions League, but in the Europa League and especially the Conference, is generally poor. And the refs are really hiding behind VAR as well these days. You notice decisions not being given; they're just waiting for VAR to make the decision for them. So,
which they won't if it's not clear and obvious. You know, they don't want to really get involved.
So we'll kick off. Short-lived jobs. In what circumstances did you do potentially a bit of an ange? Maybe it was only a day. Maybe it was only an hour. Maybe it was only a minute. 03717 223344. talkSPORT.com.
My time on the Chelsea PA didn't last very long.
Your time on the Chelsea
I got sacked after half an hour.
Well, because they said you had to work the controls, and we know that you're a bit of a technophobe.
Yeah, it was.
And you didn't feel you could put the records on, did you?
No, I didn't feel that was my job.
Oh, I knew there'd be something snotty about it. It wasn't that technically you couldn't do it. You felt it was beneath you, did you?
I couldn't believe it when I got fired, though. It was a bit harsh.
Great. Okay. Well, you might as well go then. Is that what they said?
Yeah.
I wish I'd been there. Has anybody got it on video? Anyway, talksport.com, text 1889, tweet TSH&J. Faye Carruthers joins us. She just had a sit down with Thomas Tuchel after he announced his squad this morning. We'll get reaction to that. Ross McCormack joins us, formerly of Scotland, Rangers and Villa. Good week for Villa, really, starting with Bologna last week. A mixed, I mean, they finally got over the line, Rangers, with a win, but beaten again last night, of course. Ross will be giving us his thoughts on both of his former clubs and a bit of Scotland. And Simon Lazenby from the world of F1 will join us, chat about his new book. And as we said, we've got a big Grand Prix this weekend with Verstappen starting to breathe down everybody's neck. So we'll get Simon's take on that. Stan joins us later. We'll have some clips of the week. As always, we're here with Tool Station. Next stop, Tool Station. England's women just a couple of runs away from victory against South Africa in the 50 over World Cup. We'll get a full-time report in a few moments from John Norman, who's been watching that unfold. Faye Carruthers will be joining us very shortly, our England correspondent. Thomas Tuchel named his England squad for the Wales and Latvia games earlier on today, and Faye caught up with him after the announcement. And yes, they had a conversation about the squad and more. Let's have a listen.
No, whenever squad announcement day is here, it's usually about the omissions, not necessarily who's in the squad, and you've not made many changes. Can you just let us know your thinking around picking today's squad?
Yeah, we just made one change. Bukayo Saka is in for the injured Noni Madueke. Well, after it was just 3.5 weeks ago where we had an excellent camp, an excellent result, and the great performance in Serbia. It was our best camp so far. So the question is, why not invite the same group? They set the standards. We want to be more stable with these standards and make them more stable with what we built. So we invited the same group. I know I think it's a very straightforward decision. I know there are players out who deserve to be with us. This will always be the case, by the way, because we have a talented pool of players. There's always a way back in through performance. The door is never closed, but for this camp, the decision to go with the same team stance.
With Phil Foden and Jude Bellingham, they were always, the first names when fit on the team sheet because, and you've spoken previously about their individual quality. Is there a risk at the moment, bearing in mind there's only the November camp and the March camp after this one, that you lose that togetherness by not, what they bring, but if they're not in the squad, are they not coming to the World Cup?
Then they have to make sure that they are in the squad, and this is the only chance is by performance. And if they are not in the squad and the squad performs like they performed in the last match, why would I change the squad?
So does it feel like a bit of a message to those who are on the outside at the minute?
The message, competition is on, that's the message. And this is on for Phil, and it's on for Jack, and it's on for Jude, and it's on for Trevor Chalobah, it's on for everyone. And it's also on for the guys who are in camp.
Interesting stuff. Hiya, Faye.
Hello, how you doing?
Not too bad, thanks. Yeah, it was an interesting chat.
Yeah,
there are players there that on form deserve to be in the team. He's saying if they're on form, they'll get in the squad.
They also played very well the last game.
Yes, they did. I can kind of sense that. You, as you quite rightly said, you're sending a bit of a message. He says not, but you do sense he is, don't you?
Well, yeah, but he's also sending, if you flip it around, he's sending a message to those players that aren't in the squad about the fact that they need to fight and perform in order to get into it. But he's also sending a message to those players that were involved in the last camp that I was really impressed with what you did. And if he had then replaced half of those players for no other reason than the star players that have performed for England in the past were back and available, what message does that send to the players who performed particularly against Serbia? So actually, I think it's a really smart move in many ways, because the competition is on, as he said, for those selected currently to keep those standards up and keep performing. It's their place to lose, if you like, and the competition is on for those on the periphery of it who've been out injured and had other issues or not been in form to try and play their way back into it. And what was really interesting is what he wants to make sure is that there is consistency. So I think it would have been fascinating to know if Noni Madueke had not been injured, whether Bukayo Saka would have been brought back into the squad, because you could argue the same reasons in terms of still getting the rhythm back in the season. But obviously with Noni Madueke being out for potentially a couple of months with that knee injury, it opens the door back again for Bukayo Saka. So that's the one that I find fascinating. And I did put to him as well afterwards, because there was a bit of a trend, I don't know if you remember, leading into the Euros in 2024, where players, even if they were injured or nursing problems and just outside of the squad, they were still reporting for duty, and they were turning up to make sure that they were in and around the camp meetings. And Thomas Tuchel said he didn't have a preference whether players do that. They're welcome to do that. He didn't have a rule, if you like. But I find that quite interesting going forward, because we now only have, after this camp has been named, we only have November and March. And so if you're thinking in terms of those, in inverted commas, star players that have performed for England previously, they've really got to be in the November camp. They have to be.
He's just got this embarrassment of riches, though, Faye. I mean, he talks about club form. Morgan Rogers was great for England the last break, but he's been not great for Villa. And Foden's been great for City. Cole Palmer's there, but he hasn't played. You've got Bellingham, you've got Grealish. I think
Grealish, you do sense it's not going to happen for Grealish. If he wasn't going to get in this squad, I mean, what do you think, Faye? As you said, maybe if he doesn't get in November, definitely he's not getting in March, you sense.
If he doesn't get in November, then there's a worry. I think there's still time for him. Yeah. A, because of what he's done previously for England, and B, he is fighting for his place. You can see it. And he's desperate for it. And what was interesting is Thomas Tuchel was very quick to make sure that we all knew that everybody wanted to be included in the squad. Because obviously the headlines with what had happened in June, and Thomas Tuchel's comments about how his mother found Jude Bellingham's behaviour at times repulsive, of which he apologised for using those words. But of course that does then set a narrative that people start to question whether or not there is a rift, and that was very quickly straight batted back from Thomas Tuchel, that there is no problem, not just with Jude Bellingham but also with Phil Foden and with Jack Grealish, and the players that of course there is always a clamour for them to be involved. But I think it's an important statement to make for the players that are included, and the fact that, they did perform. And that statement win felt like it was exactly what Thomas Tuchel had been building into, and he wants to use that as a platform. That's the stability, is the word that he kept using, and he said it was actually a very straightforward decision, keeping faith with the players that effectively did what he asked of them in that last camp. So I can understand why he's done what he's done.
He had a kind of get out with Loftus-Cheek because he was a late emergency call-up. He could have put Wharton in.
That's quite perverse.
Yes. He could have made that change. So I wonder why he didn't take the opportunity to have a look at Wharton.
Well, he was an unused sub, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, so maybe he's giving him the opportunity because it's a friendly against Wales and then a game against Latvia out in Riga, and they beat Latvia 3-0 in the reverse fixture in the World Cup qualifiers. So, I think that might be, he's actually giving him the opportunity. He's seen him within training, but now perhaps let's see him back in an England shirt again. The last time we saw him play for England was back in 2018. So he's been part of the setup, give him another opportunity. And then with Adam Wharton, he is still getting back to fitness again. And of course, lots of games that he's involved with Crystal Palace in. I think the one that I was slightly, I did wonder whether there was an opportunity for Tyrick Mitchell. I mentioned it earlier on because Tino Livramento is out. But, equally, I absolutely understand why he's made the decisions he's made. He's effectively rewarding those players that gave him everything in the September camp. He's rewarding them for that and saying this is now your place to lose.
Faye, thank you. We'll catch up with you soon.
See you later.
There we are, Faye Crothers, our England correspondent, both those games against Wales and Latvia.
That'll be a true test, the Wales game. They're
good side. They're decent. And there'll be some edge. The home
they'll be right up for it.
So they're both on talkSPORT, of course, and Stan Collymore's joining us later on, former England striker. We're going to talk a bit of Forest with him, and indeed we will talk a bit of England and get his take on that. And those comments that Tuchel made about Miles Lewis-Skelly, maybe needed a little bit more game time. He was asked, is his place in threat if he's not playing? And he said, well, yeah, kind of. If he's not playing, then it makes it more difficult for him. So
nice to see a left-footed left back there.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, Stan's take on that later. England's women have been playing South Africa in the Women's Cricket World Cup in India today. John Norman's watched it all unfold. He probably didn't think he'd be in the pub by 1:45, but it looks like he will be. John, very comfortable for England.
Yeah, I'm not sure my wife would be too happy for me to head straight to the pub with the kids needing to be picked up. But yes, Alan Brazil, I'm sure, is waiting for me at the London Bridge Hotel. What a shellacking. This is almost perfect start for England. They come into this World Cup under a lot of pressure. Plenty of scrutiny. They're not one of the favourites, India and Australia. You feel are going to be the two to beat. But in terms of statement wins, this is up there. South Africa have got a decent record against England at World Cups, in group stages anyway, but they've just been, really blasted aside. Winning the toss, deciding to bowl. And Lindsay Smith taking 3 of the first 4 wickets. Inside 3 overs, they were 2 down. They never recovered, 19 for 4 when Marizanne Kapp was dismissed. And really, England's bowlers shared the wickets around. 3 for Smith. There were a couple to Nat Siver-Brunt, the new skipper. She took wickets with the first ball of both of her first 2 overs. Sophie Eccleston, always a danger. She picked up a couple. Charlie Dean as well, and Lauren Bell, who was a visitor to talkSPORT at the start of the summer, nipping out 1 as well. And when England came out to bat, a total of 70. Even if they lost wickets early, was never really going to trouble them. They didn't lose wickets early. They didn't lose a wicket. Tammy Bowman and Amy Jones seeing South Africa off inside 15 overs. So a 50-over clash, and how many overs did it actually take? Less than 35. So thank you very much. England move on. They've beaten South Africa by 10 wickets.
Thanks very much, John. There we are.
Good for net run rate as well.
Yeah, indeed. Very good win by England's women there. They bowled very well from what we saw. So, still to come, Simon Lazenby, the F1 presenter, has written a book on the world of F1. We're going to chat to him about that and look ahead to the Singapore Grand Prix. The driver's going to be wearing cooling vests. You see yourself in a cooling vest, Dan?
Very much so.
Carry that off.
Did look very hot. I was watching them interview this morning, yeah.
But before that, we're going to talk a bit of Rangers and a bit of Villa after their weeks with Ross McCormack, their former striker. That's coming up shortly.
Thomas Tuchel's shocked a few people with his latest England squad announced this morning. The headline, no Jude Bellingham. Is there a rift developing between the two?
No, there's also no problem between me and Phil Foden. There's no problem between me and Jack Grealish. Very special players. Phil is back to influencing games, deciding games for Manchester City. Jack is very close to be the best version of himself.
Tuchel's not called up either Foden or Grealish either. Troy Deeney says all the chat around Bellingham and team spirit is a double standard.
But there's concerns that he's not in the squad because it's about team spirit. They're looking at it, what happens if he's not there. But we don't have the same conversations around Harry Kane if he's injured. We don't have the same conversations around Jordan Pickford.
England will take on Wales in a friendly next Thursday before heading to Latvia in World Cup qualifying on Tuesday. Both of those games will be live on talkSPORT. Elsewhere, Arne Slot's confirmed Hugo Ekitike could play for Liverpool this weekend. The striker's back in training, but Alisson won't be fit in time. Slot said he'd be surprised if the keeper's ready for the first game back from the international break. Meanwhile, Eddie Howe says it's regretful that Newcastle had to sell Elliot Anderson. The midfielder left the North East for Forest as part of a PSR-busting transfer last summer. This, as he's also confirmed, it'll be another 8 weeks before we see Johan Visser in a Newcastle shirt. And Rodrigo Bentancur has signed a fresh long-term contract at Spurs.
This is Dreamland. And now Nketiah does score. What a few days he's having.
They're favourites to win it. And they showed this evening why they're favourites to win it.
Extending their unbeaten run to 19 games. Dynamo Kyiv 0, Crystal Palace 2.
European football back on the banks of the Trent. Delivered in by Simsir, flicked on. Is it going to go in? It is! They've got another! Ange Postecoglou cannot believe it.
Durham Graz 2, Rangers, it gets worse, 0.
And Celtic beaten at home by Braga. Not a good night for the Scottish Giants in the Europa League. Into the box now, Marlon comes from again, and he sweeps Aston Villa into a 2-0 lead. Feyenoord 0, Aston Villa 2.
Midtjylland have surely won it now. Sacked in the morning. The chant of the Nottingham Forest fans.
Nottingham Forest should be winning games like this, they really should.
Yep, another eventful night on talkSPORT in Europe. We did ask for some Forest fans to get in touch. David says, you're quite correct, the fans didn't want Nuno to go. Most would have preferred Edu to go. Ange has been hired solely on one match, the Europa League final, which he won. Mr. Marinakis has made a terrible mistake, but he's stubborn and will never admit it. So we'll give Ange a little bit more time, but it won't be enough.
Well, it's got to give him more time.
He says he won't see Christmas. In fact, he'll be lucky to see Halloween, says David.
Nah, I think they'll give him longer than that, won't he?
I don't know.
Maybe to the transfer window, we'll see.
We did ask you also about short-lived jobs off the back of Ange. As a 15-year-old, he got a Saturday job at a local caravan and motorhome hire company, says Shane. On my first day, I was told it's my job to clean and service the chemical toilets in the motorhomes. Yes, after a couple of hours of dry heaving and eye-watering nausea, I left.
I don't blame.
Thank you, Shane. I hope you're enjoying your lunch out of everybody. Anyway, our next guest had a little spell on loan at Forest, I see, but he is a former Villa and Rangers and Scotland striker. Ross McCormack joins us. Are you, Ross?
Hi, guys. How are we doing?
Yeah, not bad. I think we were all shocked, weren't we, to hear the Forest fans singing "Sacked in the Morning" to a manager who's only been there a few weeks.
3 weeks. I mean, I feel for Big Ange. He's not had much time on the training ground, has he, to implement his style? So he needs time, especially when it's such a drastic change. You know, Forest predominantly sit and break on the counter-attack. Now they're looking to completely change and go into this expansive attacking style. It's going to take time.
Yeah, absolutely. And in that transition, 2 different styles. We saw 3 trademark goals against an Ange team last night, 2 set pieces and a bypassed midfield. Let's talk a bit about Villa, because Guillaume Balaguer came in last week. He went behind the scenes for a season with Unai Emery. And he said, everybody chill, they'll be fine. And subsequently...
He's a very good manager.
They've had 3 wins, 2 in Europe and 1 in the league. And it looks altogether rosier picture now, Ross, doesn't it?
Yeah, I watched it last night. Feyenoord's a tough place to go, regardless how you're playing. But I think the confidence is starting to come back. I know a few of the players have been getting a little bit of a stick for underperforming, but form's temporary, class is permanent. You look at guys like Ollie Watkins, Morgan Rogers. They're never going to have average games for too long. So they'll be back. Ask them. I think PSR as well has killed them.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it thinking, how many players have they got to sell to get on the other side of this year? It's ridiculous.
And John McGinn is huge. He is huge for Villa, isn't he? I mean, when you're up against it, he's the kind of player.
So reliable.
And he's stepped up in the last week, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He's a go-to man. He's a captain. I think he took over from Jack when Jack left, and he is the man. I think that's what you need as well. See, when the chips are down, he's that kind of character in the dressing room that's going to get everyone going again. He's such a great guy and a great player.
Now, what did we learn about Rangers though? Because
they're both struggling. It's been a shocking season for the big 2.
It has. I mean, but from Rangers' point of view, it will look a bit of a squeaky win against Livingston at the weekend, but you thought maybe that will be a bit of a springboard. But then again, last night, it's a disaster.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if my cameras went there, has it?
No,
we got you. Oh no, you're all good. Yeah.
You're looking lovely.
Yeah.
Listen, he's been getting pelters, to be honest, Russell Martin. But the last 2 games, I think first half against Livingston, and then second half last night, I thought they were really good, but they're just not able to string it across a 90-minute spell. And to be honest with you, I don't like seeing managers lose their job, but I don't see how this gets any better. You look at when they scored the winner against Livingston, 26 seconds later, the Rangers fans are singing that Russell Martin should be sacked.
Yeah.
You would think they would be enjoying the winning goal, but no.
We were saying earlier on, though, when a board makes a decision like that, they tend to stick to their guns because they lose face in making a change. But I suppose there comes a point when they have no choice. They're painted into a corner.
Yeah, and listen, I think it's starting to get really toxic now. I saw videos of the fans approaching Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thelwell in the team hotel last night. It's not good at all. They're not in a good place.
Yeah.
Celtic were unlucky, though. If that goal had stood, which it should have done, it might have been a completely different game.
Someone's going to have to tell me how that's a handball. I've seen every angle 20 times. I still can't see it. The spin in the ball doesn't change. It's just bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to chat to Kevin Hatchard about it later on. It feels like one of the worst ever. It should be a line in the sand moment. You'd like to think today that,
but they're not even admitting it was a bad decision.
Somebody involved in sort of European VAR would come out and apologise for that, but they haven't broken cover yet because they tend to cover their own backs.
Yeah, I mean, see, even if it does touches arm, it's not as if it's altered the direction of the ball. It's so minuscule that is it even a foul?
I know. It was ludicrous. We should have a word for Hearts, who are flying at the moment, and it's the Edinburgh Derby this weekend. And they are, I mean, certainly...
Some connection with Brighton. I heard them talking on breakfast this morning.
Yes, they have. Yeah. The Tony Bloom's got an involvement with the club, hasn't he?
That's interesting.
Yeah, Tony Bloom is he's an investor in the club, and to be honest, it looks like a bit of a cheat code because anything he touches right now turns to gold. And Hearts have started incredibly well. They obviously beat Rangers at Ibrox, Edinburgh Derby this weekend, and they're probably favourites to win that game. Although I think form goes out the window for any derby, so it'll be a tough game. But the chat up here is it's went from can Hearts split the Old Firm to now. Can Hearts mount a serious title charge?
It's good for the SPL, isn't it, Ross?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, we need something because we're getting trounced every week in Europe, so we need something to be cheerful about.
It was interesting listening to Brendan Rodgers, though, saying he's a bit mystified why Celtic scored so many goals last year.
Yeah.
Can't seem to buy a goal this year. So
I know it's been odd. And that the fans there are unhappy about the sort of lack of investment at the start of the season and the slow start. So both the old firm, it's been a pretty rocky road so far off the field, isn't it?
It has been, yes. I think if you take Celtic's situation, it's a little bit different. The fans there are sort of mystified because they've sold all this top talent and they haven't really replaced it. Now they've got a winger in called Tunecki, who for the last 3 or 4 games has been different class on the left midfield. So that's something positive. But they haven't replaced Kyogo. They haven't replaced Kuhn. They've let Adamida go. Jota's out, long-term injury, so that's 4 massive players in the squad at the top end of the pitch that haven't been replaced.
On the side, they think to Iheanacho when he signed, there was a few people saying, "Oh, he's a free transfer, big deal. He's Brendan's. He's done very, very well, I think, so far, hasn't he? I mean, he's considering the sort of way he came into the club, he's not doing too bad."
Yeah, no, he's done well. He's obviously he got a goal in Europe as well. Great touch, great finish. But if you look at him last season, I don't think he played too many games. So it was always going to take a little bit of time to get up to speed. And listen, he's got that quality, hasn't he? He's, Leicester, Man City on his CV, Sevilla. So fine well, if you provide him with chances, he's going to take them. And hopefully, being at the best team in Scotland, he's going to get them chances.
Yeah. Good to talk to you, Ross. Thanks very much.
No problem. Take care, guys.
Ross McCormack, former Rangers and Villa and Scotland striker. And we kick off our football coverage tonight with Bournemouth versus Fulham. And we've also on talkSPORT 2 got Wrexham v Birmingham City.
Bournemouth and Palace are amazing this year.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Well, it's great. I mean, they were just saying there in that little bit of footage we played you from last night, it would be great to see Palace win the Conference League so they can get in the Europa League by winning it.
They'll definitely win the Conference League. Any English team that's decent will win the Conference League.
Yeah, that was a good result for them last night. Anyway, still to come, Simon Lazenby, F1 presenter, joining us to chat about his new book and look ahead to the Singapore Grand Prix. Stan Collymore on Forest and England later on. And all manner of other stuff, including some fresh clips of the week. We're here with Tool Station. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Tool Station. Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Stan Collymore joining us to talk Forest, England, and stick around for the Falls panel. We'll run through the Falls panel games a little bit later on. It's another big weekend of F1, of course, and sizzling Singapore. The guys are wearing cooling vests, apparently, because of the conditions out there. We're going to chat about that, and we're also going to chat about his new book, Pressure, How the People Who Power Formula One Thrive at the Limits, with the Sky F1 presenter Simon Lazenby. Hi, Simon.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Yes, we're good. We're good, thank you. I noticed on your Wikipedia it says you play golf and the piano. I'm hoping at the same. Same time. As a golfer, are you a good pianist or vice versa? What do you do better?
Well, I've given up the piano. I think that was when I was a lot younger.
Right.
So I think the sum total of my talents is I can play the opening bars to Bruce Hornsby's The Way It Is. But that's
not
about it.
very nice. That's pretty good.
Time has passed though now.
Yeah, it's because you came from you loved F1, but you kind of came to presenting it sort of later than that because you were involved in other sports, weren't you? Rugby, etc. So what was it going from rugby into F1 as a world?
Well, I always say it was like going, no disrespect to my time in rugby, which I thoroughly enjoyed, but a sort of damp Friday night at Welford Road or Monaco in May over the bank holiday weekend. It was just a really great opportunity to get involved with the sport that I'd obviously followed and admired for years. But getting into it, it just becomes an addiction and a way of life. It really is. It's all-consuming life on the road here in Formula One, and we have a great group at Sky that we travel with, and we become like a family. Sometimes a bit dysfunctional, but we tend to, we spend as much time with each other as we do with our families. So it's great fun. It's a great sport, and it's never been more popular, really.
No, it's incredible.
I mean, Drive to Survive has given it a broader appeal, hasn't it? I mean, have you noticed that in and around the sport? You've been doing it for 13 years now, fronting it. So since Drive to Survive, have you noticed that change?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there were a couple of reasons. I think that, it was one of the first sports to get back up and going after COVID. And also the Netflix effect. It's really kind of rising tide lifts all boats. It's been great for the Sky coverage. It's just been great for the sport in general. Then you have the F1 movie as well with Brad Pitt, which is taking it to another level. But you do notice it. The paddocks are a lot busier than it was when we first started, and you cannot move sometimes when you come to places like Singapore for the crowd. So yeah, it's wonderful.
It's a good season, isn't it? Because it's not that procession that we've had the last couple of years with Verstappen winning easily. And look, he still may win it. And he was brilliant when he was asked this morning what his chances were. And he said 50-50. I'll either do it or I won't, which is typical answer from him.
Yeah. I mean, it is. It has got more interesting, isn't it? He's got everybody back on their toes again going into Singapore.
If you were Oscar Piastri or Lando Norris, you'd be just maybe sweating a little bit harder here in Singapore. Even will not be sweating, but as you said, the cooler has been on. But he's 69 points now behind. But Max being Max, four-time world champion, this is the litmus test actually here in Singapore this weekend, guys, because that Red Bull, it's the only track actually in the current rotation that he's never taken pole position and he's never won here. And if he can get that Red Bull working as it has been, yes, admittedly the last couple of tracks were low downforce tracks, but if he can get it working around the streets here and take 3 in a row, then it's game on. It really is. I think he knows it. So you mentioned it there that a couple of weeks ago, or maybe let's say before the summer break, I've got no chance was what he was saying. And then after Baku, well, everything's got to go my way. And then this weekend coming into it, 50-50. So you just know that he's just beginning to talk and you'd need everything to go right for him. But it's just another thing to add to the season because, as you said, it was the kind of intra-team battle between the two McLaren drivers. But, Max is back. Red Bull looked really good again.
This is your first book, Pressure. So tell us how it came about and also just some of the people you spoke to and the kind of thrust of the book. How it
I mean, I thought that, again, it's just from spending so much time in the paddock with people over the last sort of 14 years, you get to know them and you get to realise that there's a lot of exceptional people that put the cars together, that keep the show on the road. And I just thought the unsung heroes and heroines aside from the drivers and the team principals, it was probably good to try to tell their stories. So and it's everyone really, from the crew of the medical car through to promoters, like the logistics guys that rig up the motorhomes and put them all back down and drive them between races when we're in Europe, but then through to the journalists and the F1 artists and performance coaches, and all the way through to George Russell was good enough to give me some time, and so too Zach Brown. There's a few of the team principals in there too. So hopefully it's like a 360-degree view of how everybody does their job in the paddock.
Do you have a favourite race? Is there one you look forward to every year?
Now, it depends whether you're asking me for the nightlife or the track.
Right.
All right.
Well, let's have both. Best city to go to watch a race and the race you enjoy.
Well,
the track.
if I'm going to get friends to come out, I'll bring them to Budapest because it's a brilliant city. It's usually right slap bang in the middle of the European summer. It always is. And it's brilliant. Track-wise, you can't really look past Silverstone, Suzuka and Spa in terms of what you get for on-track offering. But I'm a bit of a purist like that, in that I prefer the fast-flowing circuits. Sometimes, there's a lot of street tracks. I think even Max has been saying he doesn't want any more street tracks. He wants, proper racing tracks. I love Austin as well. That's definitely one to put on your to-do list, lads.
Yeah, the increase in interest in the States, which has been helped by Drive to Survive, has been one of the big changes in recent years that you would have seen. More races in the States, more interest.
There are three.
NASCAR was king, but F1 has now got a foothold again, hasn't it?
I think it's the first time it's truly had a foothold in the States. F1's been back and forth over the years, but right now interest is just skyrocketed. As you mentioned, it does go back to Drive to Survive. It's a different kind of audience, but there's a lot of petrol heads over there. And I think that Formula One have just done a magnificent job in kind of getting it right over there. But Bernie did a good job when Liberty took over, and they just know the American market. They know what makes things work. So, yeah, I think the interest, you just feel it's palpable when we go over there. As I said, 3 decent races. My favourite of which is definitely Austin, just because of the track layout.
Finally, would you like to climb into the tiny cockpit of a car in the sort of conditions you're in Singapore at the moment? What's it like? And will you be wearing a cooling vest when you're on telly?
I need one. I ran back from the track to do this interview. I'm actually soaked, so I need to change the shirt before I go back on air. But anyone would love to get into one of these F1 cars. I did it once with Paul Di Resta in a 2-seater F1 car around Silverstone, and that was just mind-blowing. And that was in a 15-year-old car. But these things they're brutal. When you see them up close, absolute beasts. You just got to take your hat off. These guys that risk life and limb, but they get the thrill ride every time they get into the cockpit. So the answer is yes, but I'm not sure I'd make a very good fist of it.
Nice one. We wish you well with the book, Simon, and enjoy the race at the weekend. Thanks very much.
Cheers, guys. Really appreciate it.
Simon Lazenby there. The book is called Pressure, How the People Who Power Formula One Thrive at the Limits. It's published by Penguin Random House and is out now in hardback. And we'll keep you in touch with the Singapore Grand Prix, of course, on Sunday here on talkSPORT. And we should let you know that the latest episode of the talkSPORT Daily is available now. Manchester United fan broadcaster Flex went on a huge rant about the current state of the club under Ruben Amorim. Why is he so upset, I wonder? And discuss whether Sir Jim Ratcliffe needs to sack the manager during the international break. There was a few of the papers going with that today. You can also find it all on the podcast.
Not happening till November the 1st.
You reckon? Oh, yes, there's a big payout difference.
Yeah, there is.
You can find it all on podcast platforms as well as the talkSPORT app now. Still to come with us, Stan Collymore joins us for a chat. The Falls panel, the games are Bournemouth versus Fulham, live on talkSPORT this evening. Leeds v Spurs, live on talkSPORT tomorrow lunchtime. And Chelsea v Liverpool, which we'll keep you updated with. That's on Sunday, isn't it, that game? Is that tomorrow, Chelsea-Liverpool?
Chelsea-Liverpool tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Brentford-Man City on Sunday.
But they're the games. Bournemouth, Fulham, Leeds, Spurs, Chelsea-Liverpool. Get in touch now and we'll call you back. 03717 223344. You can take us on and Stan and the commentator Nigel Adley today in the Falls panel at around 2:45. 03717 223344. Celtic disallowed goal last night. That's all after Hugo Chambray with the sports headlines.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Score a winning hat-trick of performance, payload and price. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Thanks, Paul. Good afternoon. After leaving Jude Bellingham out of the latest England squad, Troy Deeney has batted away the suggestion there's a rift between Thomas Tuchel and his star midfielder.
Well, there's concerns that he's not in the squad because it's about team spirit. They're looking at it, what happens if he's not there. But we don't have the same conversations around Harry Kane if he's injured. We don't have the same conversations around Jordan Pickford. Like, we don't.
Remember, the manager told talkSPORT this summer that his mum finds Bellingham's on-field antics repulsive. He did later apologise for those comments. Tuchel also dismissed the suggestion of any personal issues between him and, well, any of the players he's dropped.
No, there's also no problem between me and Phil Foden. There's no problem between me and Jack Grealish. Very special players. Phil is back to influencing games, deciding games for Manchester City. Jack is very close to be the best version of himself.
Pep Guardiola reckons Phil Foden will be back in the squad in no time the way he's playing. There's no Adam Wharton either for the games against Wales and Latvia. Ruben Loftus-Cheek keeps his place. Saka and Stones are back in after their injuries. Meanwhile, the Football Supporters Association are urging the FA to put pressure on FIFA to keep next year's Football World Cup financially accessible. The cheapest tickets for the final start at $2,000, which the head of the FSA calls astonishing. Thomas Concannon predicts tickets for this World Cup will set fans back double what Qatar cost, and a dream start for England in their first match at the Women's Cricket World Cup. They bowled South Africa out for just 69 runs to win by 10 wickets. Next up for England is Bangladesh on Tuesday. There's more on our website at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
One of the two men who died in yesterday's terror attack was shot by police trying to target the killer, and the Prime Minister has thanked emergency service workers after visiting the Manchester synagogue earlier today. There's more from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. With a huge range of premium brands available, we've got what you need to drive away happy every time. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Cloudy, damp and breezy. Storm Amy is coming in from the west, bringing strong winds and heavy rain. In the north this afternoon, those winds will be strong and damaging.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. In the second hour of today's show, we'll be chatting to the husband and wife authors of the little book of second mentions. Andy and I have often been obsessed with the alternative explanations. If you say Gordon Strachan back in the day, you can't write Gordon Strachan again if you're a newspaper or whatever. So we don't do it in broadcasting. It's a newspaper thing.
No, it is. It's the tabloid thesaurus, isn't it?
You mustn't repeat the name, so you'd call him the flame-haired schemer or something like that. Now, a whole book, it comes from, I think, a Twitter feed and lots of social media stuff that the guys had done before, but they now have the little book of second mentions, and they'll talk us through some of the best sporting ones they've encountered later on. Stan Collymore on Forest, England, and the Falls panels. We said Bournemouth, Fulham, Leeds, Spurs, Chelsea versus Liverpool. Give us a call now. We'll call you back at 3:45. Just got to predict the scores of those games and take us on and get some points for the panel beaters. 03717 22 3344. What do we learn from the week in Europe? We'll be chatting to European football expert Kevin Hatchard in a moment with a few of the headlines. But we will kick off reflecting on Celtic's disallowed goal. Kelechi Iheanacho scored what looked a perfectly good goal last night, ruled out by the ref and seemingly backed up by VAR. Brendan Rodgers was not happy after that 2-0 defeat to Braga and was asked about the decision to rule out that goal.
I can't understand why the referee isn't asked to go and have a look at it. You know, I think if you're looking at that, even if you look at it once, twice, and I'm assuming the guys in the VAR will have watched it more than that because of the time it took. But there's absolutely no way from every angle you look at that he's touched it. So it's hit his face. He's gone away and finished it really, really well. And that's a big moment in the game for us.
Kevin Hatchard went away to try and make sense of it, and he'll kick off trying to do that now if he can. Good afternoon, Kev.
Good afternoon, the haggard European football journalist, 45. That's
exactly.
Usually an age in those second mentions.
There normally
isn't
is.
there, somewhere.
There normally is. So, on the face of it, it seemed like one of the worst VAR decisions I think we've ever seen. So, try and explain what went on, Kev.
So, look, I think the key here is that Tobias Stieler made the judgment that it was handball on the field of play. Because then what happens is the VAR, I'm led to believe, has to find definitive evidence to recommend either an overturn or a look at the monitor. And because the pictures don't show you clearly that Iheanacho handles it, I find it baffling that the referee gave the judgment in the first place. But unless Christian Dinger, his VAR, who is a very good official actually in the Bundesliga, unless he can find definitive proof that it's not handball, which he judged that he couldn't, he can't then recommend that it gets overturned
couldn't he? Hit him in
reviewed.
the face. I mean, honestly.
Well, this is it. I mean, look, the problem we've got here now is that some of the things recently have been good. I like the semi-automated offsides. It's nice and quick. You can't have that across the board, obviously, because of technology, but, isn't always available. But I think that's generally worked pretty well in European games. But I just think with VAR, we've got ourselves into such a mess in terms of what can be, because common sense would dictate that he should say, I think you should have, it's quite a contentious call that you've made. At least go and have another look at the monitor to make sure you're happy. That felt to me like quite an egregious incident last night. I think, there are judgments that are made that are wrong, but that to me felt like a real outlier because it was so wrong when you then looked at the pictures. And it was such a key incident as well. But what I find interesting thinking about this is the wider context. If you look at Sweden, for example, in their league, they've actively rejected VAR. They said, we don't want it. We're quite happy without it. And that looked as though it was going to be the case with Norway because Norwegian football did embrace it initially. And their clubs have said, we don't want this anymore. And so the clubs actually voted to scrap it, only for the Norwegian football authorities to then overrule that and say, well, tough, we're going to keep it. So I do think there are leagues and there are clubs that are starting to think, actually, is this all worth it? Because I think what VAR does is it creates this false perception that you can have perfection, and you simply can't.
With respect to Sweden and Norway, it makes it so much harder being one of the major European leagues to make a unilateral call like that. I mean, I don't disagree, Kevin, but I just think it would be a lot tougher for the Premier League, say, to make a call like that. Apparently,
make the Premier League even more popular, though. Around
I think
the
it
world.
probably would.
It would.
The TNT commentator last night apparently overheard some footage from the VAR officials saying there's clear evidence of it brushing the upper part of his arm. Now, if they've got footage that proves that, considering the amount of heat this decision has taken, you kind of sense they should release it, shouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think this is an issue as well. And I feel like this about refereeing in general. If you're transparent with people and you speak to the press afterwards, I don't think that does any harm at all. And if you've got this, it's no good having a load of neatly pre-packaged stuff later on. Yeah, a week after the event, you can have your little show where you look back on all the decisions and you can talk about it here, there and everywhere. I think, and this does happen in Germany sometimes and other countries as well, referees will come out and if they've made a mistake, will say, I'm so sorry, I got that wrong. And you'd be amazed how well that goes down when referees come out and either say this is how we arrived at this judgment, or they say, look, I should have done this. I didn't do it. It's my mistake. I'm sorry. And that generally seems to go down quite well.
Yeah. Now, Palace took 3,000 to Lublin in Poland last night to play Dynamo Kiev, and the fans were rewarded with a win. Well, they got over their initial disappointment of not being in the Europa League. They're embracing this competition, and Oliver Glasner said it was like a home game, and a great result for them, and they're looking good in this competition, aren't they, Kev?
I loved it. I thought it was a great performance. I thought it was a great occasion. You have to remember as well that was effectively an away game as well for Dynamo Kyiv because they can't play in Ukraine. They're having to play their games in Poland. And so They had many fans who'd made that trip, and they're all wrapped in Ukrainian flags. And, you know, the whole vibe of the game, I thought, was quite positive. The Palace fans were tremendous, and were rewarded with that performance. And I think what's happened is Palace have ended up landing in a competition they could win. And Oliver Glasner has won the Europa League with Eintracht Frankfurt. He's overachieved everywhere he's been. 19 games unbeaten. Palace have never done that before. And I think if they really take this seriously, and there's no indication that they won't, I genuinely think they could win the competition.
Yeah. But talking of apologies, though, from referees, do you see that Robin Van Persie said the referee apologised to him at half-time for getting something wrong? I can't remember what it was.
Oh, really? Have you seen that, Kevin?
I know there was some. I was on the Palace, covering the Palace game, so I didn't see all of the details of the final game. But I'm led to believe the first half had a few poor decisions in it, and there was a potential red card, I think. But that went for Feyenoord, I seem to remember. Oh. But yeah, I mean, again, it takes us back to this whole thing about refereeing, and that's all very well if that did happen and that apology happened, but you'd like that in a more public forum, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Because I think that's I'm quite quick to back referees, because we've got to be really careful, because we're not going to have any if it carries on the way it's going, because of the pressure, because of the scrutiny. But help them out. Let them referee. And I just think VAR has actually made their job so much harder and brought so much more scrutiny. They were actually doing quite a good job beforehand,
So
frankly.
have a quick word on Harry Kane. Again, more goals for him this week. It's been ridiculously good for him at Bayern. Do you think they've got enough to win the Champions League if they get maybe some players back from injury as well? And do you see him staying in Germany for another year?
So to address that point, I do. I do think he will stay for another year, because I think this is all part of the contract dance at the moment. All of this talk about him potentially coming back to England. And, you know, he keeps saying publicly he's happy at Bayern, but, you know, it doesn't do any harm to have that out there in the background that English clubs or Barcelona or whoever might want to take him at the end of the year. But I do think he'll stay another year, and I do think he'll probably agree a new contract. In terms of whether they can win the Champions League, they have one of the best attacks in Europe. There's no doubt about it. Elise's been incredible. Luis Diaz has been scoring freely. Kane is obviously on an incredible run right now. Serge Gnabry stepped up. The issue is not that. The issue is, can they defend? You know, is that high line going to cost them? And I kind of put them in the same box as Barcelona. Amazing going forward, but can you actually win the Champions League with that high defensive line?
Kevin, good to talk to you as always. Thanks very much.
Cheers, guys.
There we are. Kevin Hatchard, European football expert, looking at some of the things we learnt from
I wasn't
Europa
that
League.
impressed with when they beat Chelsea. I thought, you're not going to go and win this. You know, that we gave them 3 goals. I thought Chelsea were the better team in that game. So we'll see.
Yeah,
but
we'll see.
Now PSG's still good, even with all their injuries. So that was
You were impressed with them the other night?
Yeah, it was a good win, that.
That was. It did feel like a bit of a statement win, didn't it? Stan Collymore is going to join us, but before that, Juliet Matthew Maguire joining us, authors of the little book of second mentions. We'll chat more to them. And then Stan Collymore joining us to look at Forest and England, and stick around for the Falls panel. We're here, as always, with our good friends at Toolstation, standing behind every single tradesperson of Britain. Next stop, Toolstation. Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Now, if you're a long-time listener, you'll know Andy and I have always been slightly obsessed by the efforts of journalists not to repeat themselves when talking about sporting personalities or some of the weird and wonderful stories.
Tabloid thesaurus.
Yeah, that's right. Well, they have to tuck into it, don't they, to try and find an alternative to repeating, say, a player's name or whatever. Now, celebrating that, and they've been doing it online for many years now, the little book of second mentions, and it's by Juliet and Matthew Maguire, and they join us now. Good afternoon to you both.
Good afternoon. Hello. Thanks for having us.
It's a great pleasure. Yeah, we've Andy and I have always been big fans of this, and when I knew there was a whole book of it, I was very excited. It's strange. We don't do it in broadcasting. I mean, if we're talking about Jack Grealish, we'll just talk about Jack Grealish, and if we have to mention Jack Grealish, we won't be looking to reach for the
flop-haired
footy pin-up. We won't be looking, because it's funny when you actually say it, it sounds ridiculous, but when it's in print, it seems to work, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's quite. I mean, you're taught as a child, right? When you're in primary school, don't say the same word again and again and again. Don't say Jane goes to the fridge, Jane got out a drink, Jane drank the drink, etc.
Yeah.
I think it does appear to be more of a written thing. Though we do get a lot of people saying that commentators use it. I think there's a bit in the book that somebody said that every time Eden Hazard touched the ball, the commentator called him the diminutive Belgian. So that was obviously he probably had a tally just counting that up. But yeah, it's mostly print, the ones we've used in the book.
We had a corker once years ago. I could never find the clip when we were doing fantasy football where Brian Moore meant to call George Weah the big Liberian. He called him the big librarian. So you'd always take your books back if George was the librarian, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
So, have you sourced a lot of these, Juliet, or has it kind of come through your sort of social media?
Well, so we started about sort of 10 years ago or so. We started an account on Twitter, as it was then, obviously now X. And it's kind of it's become a bit of a hub for journalists, but also non-journalists alike. People can be journalists kind of sharing examples that they're particularly proud of, or it can be people sort of trying to workshop some ideas, looking for second mentions that they could put into their articles. So, for example, the day that Gunnosaurus left Arsenal back in 2020, we started out with the furry North London crowd pleaser, which we thought was quite a fun one. Good second mention for Gunnosaurus. But we rapidly got like hundreds of people replying to us with lots of ideas for what we could have for Gunnosaurus. So we had things like the big green high fiver, the 60 million year old fan favourite, the now extinct stadium favourite, the asteroid besieged sport enthuser, the hitherto extinction proofed motivator, and so on. So yeah, I think it just sort of draws people in, and even if you're not a journalist, I think there's definitely an appeal for you as well.
I think it's a challenge for tabloid journalists. They must have like a bet in the office to see who can come up with the best alternative. I'm just looking at your website, and there was a piece about penguins in the Sun, and they called them the black and white Antarctic waddlers. I mean, some of them are really
creative.
It is creative. They're kind of painful at the same time, aren't they? Really.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance. So yeah, penguins are particular favourites for us. We've also had the Skittle merchants for penguins as well, which and the tottering birds as well. So yeah, very descriptive. But you're right. Juliet will answer a bit more because she used to be a journalist, so I know she had regular battles with her editor sub-editor to try and get things in. But it's certainly a bit of a game, and it's a bit of a challenge to spot them, but also journalists feel very proud when they get them in. We get a lot of journalists when we announce the book coming to us being like, "Oh, this reminds me of 20, 30 years ago when I did this extreme second mention and got it past everyone." And people are really proud of that.
Yeah, I think it can be a fine balance, can't it? It's sort of, you want to avoid the repetition. So, for example, there was an article about hedgehogs that we saw that had 27 repetitions of the word hedgehog, and you just think, could there not just be like a prickly little creature in there, or a nocturnal wanderer or something like that? But there's it's a tricky balance, and there are sub-editors who are, it seems like their main goal in life would be to remove them from articles. So I get where it's a struggle for journalists sometimes.
I gather you've got some favourites. I like one of your favourites is for fish fingers, cod digits. Excellent.
Yeah, fantastic. Absolutely. That was another one we crowdsourced to our followers on X as well. some fantastic suggestions came back for that one. So yeah.
Quite a lot of them sound like Frank Zappa songs. I don't know why. Just, they really do. So you have a bit of a quiz in the book as well, guys, don't you? Is that right?
Yeah, well, we have a full chapter on sport, so lots of sporting examples from over the years, and yeah, we usually have a quiz for most of the chapters as well. So if you'd like to have a go,
we'll give it a go.
We can throw you a few your way. So one we had is the iconic Olympic ski jumper.
Well, that'd be Eddie the Eagle Edwards, wouldn't it? Of course.
This is well done, very good. The lanky leaper.
The lanky leaper, would that be... Oh, blimey.
Not Bob Beamon, no.
No, he wasn't that lanky, was he? No, the lanky leaper, it's not Peter Crouch, is it? No. You've got...
No. It's Dick Fosbury.
Oh, right,
Fosbury
okay, yeah.
We have one example of...
I would call him the backwards flopper or something.
The backwards... Well, you can't use the word flop because you've used the word...
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I suppose.
repetition.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
No, all good. The infamously non-flying Dutchman.
Infamously non-flying Dutchman.
Oh, Dennis Bergkamp.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, that's right. His fear of flying. Yeah, that's a good one.
And then we have a more recent one, the kebab-loving chucker.
Kebab-loving chucker. Wow, that should... Who loves a kebab and chuck stuff? I'm sure all the listeners are shouting stuff. We've lost them.
Everyone on everyone.
Is it a cricketer? Is it or no? Is it no or
darts player?
Oh, darts. It's Luke Littler, of course.
Yeah. We really like that one because it removes all element of skill.
Yeah,
it's just chucking stuff about.
Chucky's making about £2 million a year as a chucker. That's it. Yeah.
Exactly.
We should be so lucky. Well, look, we wish you well with the book, and you still got a presence on X and stuff. So people, if they find the ones they like, they can come and find you there. Is that right?
Yeah, please do. Yeah, send them our way. We absolutely love them. It brings a smile to our face every day. So yeah, thank you. Thanks to everybody who has sent them in the past.
Good to talk to you both. Thanks very much.
Likewise, thank you.
There's Juliet and Matthew Maguire. The book's called The Little Book of Second Mentions. Nice little Christmas present, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The Art of Avoiding Repetition, and it's out now. So,
Lou Reed.
Sorry,
a Lou Reed.
Do you want me? I thought you wanted me to find an alternative for Lou Reed.
No, not the
perfect day singer.
No, not that.
Okay, I was thinking, why Lou Reed? Is Lou Reed in it?
No, he's not in it.
This Saturday sees a pivotal moment for Scottish boxing as Collins take on Lorente in the EBU European featherweight title fight. And later that night, two of the most dangerous men in combat sports, Mike Parry. The idea that Mike Parry might be one of the most... Okay, mate. Yeah, Mike Parry and Jeremy Stevens. I don't know, again, does that take the edge off when you're called Jeremy? When you're... maybe it's just me. In bare knuckle boxing, watch live this Saturday on DAZN. He'll come looking for me now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. What did you say about my... Oh, no, I've always been a fan, Jeremy. Anyway, that's all on DAZN this weekend.
Boxing update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing.
Thomas Tuchel's shocked a few people with his latest England squad announced this morning. The headline, no Jude Bellingham. Is there a rift developing between the two?
No, there's also no problem between me and Phil Foden. There's no problem between me and Jack Grealish. Very special players. Phil is back to influencing games, deciding games for Manchester City. Jack is very close to be the best version of himself.
Tuchel's not called up either Foden or Grealish either. Troy Deeney says all the chat around Bellingham and team spirit is a double standard.
But there's concerns that he's not in the squad because it's about team spirit. They're looking at what happens if he's not there. But we don't have the same conversations around Harry Kane if he's injured. We don't have the same conversations around Jordan Pickford.
England will take on Wales in a friendly next Thursday before heading to Latvia in World Cup qualifying on Tuesday. Both of those games will be live on talkSPORT. Elsewhere, Arne Slot's confirmed Hugo Ekitike could play for Liverpool this weekend. The striker's back in training, but Alisson won't be fit in time. Slot said he'd be surprised if the keeper's ready for the first game back from the international break. Meanwhile, Eddie Howe says it's regretful that Newcastle had to sell Elliot Anderson. The midfielder left the northeast for Forest as part of a PSR-busting transfer last summer. This, as he's also confirmed, it'll be another 8 weeks before we see Johan Visser in a Newcastle shirt. And Rodrigo Bentancur has signed a fresh long-term contract at Spurs.
The famous grand old City ground, European football back on home turf.
It was obviously an important night.
He is the worst manager ever to grace the Premier League. Now there's a statement for you.
What I see with Ange Postecoglou, he drains the life out of the players. If I was playing for him, I'd feel that way.
My responsibility lies to make sure that we try and get some wins for this football club and progress it.
Here come Michelin on the counter to seal it. Biscoff Andresen through the middle. He has sealed it. Sacked in the morning. The chant of the Nottingham Forest fans.
If fans are disappointed, they're allowed to, they're entitled to have an opinion on it. I heard their opinion.
6 games now for Ange Postecoglou, no victories.
I really believe in sort of the process of what we're doing, and I don't think we're far away.
Sacked in the morning, yeah, sacked in the morning.
Terrible bit of singing.
Yeah, well, that escalated quickly. Stan Collymore is a former Forest striker. He spent yesterday evening in the company of 300 Forest fans and his old teammate Brian Roy. So he's well placed to get the mood amongst the supporters. Hi, Stan.
Hey, Paul. Hey, Andy. How you doing?
Good, thanks. Yeah, it must have been a very interesting evening watching that game unfold.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I mean, firstly, thank you to the 300 that came out, because a lot of them are season ticket holders. Basically, they didn't expect Forest to be in the Europa League, did they? So they were expecting to play Wednesday nights in Crystal Palace's place. So it was a full house with Nottingham Forest playing down the road. So I said to people before we started, I said, don't mind checking your phones, but just don't stick TNT on and sit in front of us while we're telling old tales and stories. And likewise me, I'll switch off my Villa notifications. So we had a great night. But I asked at the end, I just went into the audience and I said, put your hand up if you have faith in Ange Postecoglou to turn this round. The result had just come in, and not one person in 300 put their hand up.
Wow.
And bearing in mind, you know, I am associated with several clubs, but the club inducted me into their greatest ever 11 for their 150th anniversary, and a lot of Forest fans asked me my thoughts and opinions on things. And it's really simple. The owner has to take responsibility now. And a lot of people around Forest fans and people at the club tread very carefully because Mr. Marinakis isn't a guy that messes around. He wants Nottingham Forest to be successful. He wants them to be successful yesterday, and he's going to do everything in his power to make it happen. We like that. We like that a lot because I think that particularly for a club like Forest, the sort of stench of averageness of staying in the Championship for so long needed a real push and a real momentum. But the reality is that Nuno was very much liked there in the same way that Nuno was very much liked at Wolves. And it took a couple of managers, arguably there's still Wolves fans say, look, Nuno was the man, got us promoted, counter-attacking football, yes, but some of the best times we've ever had as Wolves fans. Likewise, Forest fans. And I think that what I wrote last night on my way back was, if Angie's going to turn this round, and it's going to be very, very difficult, if it's your European bow after 30 years and people are singing Sacked in the Morning, and it was a lot of the City ground, and I've never heard that in all the time that I've been associated with Forest, is that the first thing he's got to do in the next press conference, he's got to be contrite. He's got to get rid of this Aussie kind of, and it is a sort of trait in Aussies, quite sort of bombastic and bolshy, and we're the best. And it works when you're doing really well. But if you're not, you've got to just turn around and say, hasn't been a good start. We're conceding 2 goals a game. We've got to defend set pieces better. The transition from Nuno to me has to be slower. And I can guarantee that that's what we're going to be doing for Forest fans in the weeks ahead, instead of, this is the way that I do things, mate, which is only going to alienate people.
Well, once the Forest fans start to blame Mr. Marinakis, though, you got a feeling that they're writing beyond the wall for Ange. He's not going to want to admit that he's got this wrong, is he?
No, and I think there's a hierarchy of blame at the minute. The first guy is the manager that puts the team out, and that's a legitimate argument because, look, the results weren't great towards the end of last season. You know, there were fans of other clubs saying Forest choked, bottled it, whatever at the end of last season. But results weren't good, which is why part of the reason why Nuno got sacked. Then it's Edu. I saw a lot of Forest accounts, influencers going for him. And then the least likely is Mr. Marinakis, because a lot of people are very appreciative that he's put his money where his mouth is, and he talks very much like a guy that owns a football club in Athens that wins the Greek League every year. Look, we win the league every year in Athens ahead of our big rivals Panathinaikos. I want to translate that to Nottingham. Slightly different when you've got Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, all of these clubs in the Premier League. So I think that Marinakis will get the least of the kickback. But he has to own this as well. If you go to Athens in the summertime and present an award for the greatest Greek manager of all time or wherever Ange received from him, and you sit down and you go, hey, do you fancy taking over Forest? And there would have been a very persuasive argument, Ange on the crest of a wave, winning the Europa League. But Ange Postecoglou's top league level experience is relatively little, let's not forget. Yes, he won titles and leagues in Scotland, a Tier 2 or a Tier 3 league, if you've been unkind, likewise Japan. Is that his league form in terms of building a football club and a football team that compete near the where Forest believe they should be, which is probably the European positions, is very poor. So Mr. Marinakis has to own some of that decision. Now, that leads us then to, what will he do? I think that Forest have got a very, very difficult run of games, and I don't look at runs of games and go, oh my God, they can't go to St James's Park and win. They can't beat Porto at home. They can't beat Chelsea. If they get a decent amount of points, bearing in mind that the ceiling is rock bottom at the minute, then I think that he'll see it through until a point whereby an owner or a chairman, which is usually the end of November, says, okay, we're going to change things, give a new manager a few quid in the transfer window in winter. And I think that would be the most likely option. So Ange Postecoglou, I believe, will have through till November. The form will be looked at, and if he doesn't get it right, the chop will happen before giving a new guy a January transfer window to bring his own players and implement his own ideas.
It was interesting. Morgan Gibbs-White saying, basically we like what he's doing. We really like him. But he's got
even Ange said, he's not going to say he doesn't like the manager, does he? So
that happened in the Spurs. That's happened in the Spurs dressing room.
Yeah, they all seem to love him.
Dan. We all like Ange. We like him when he comes out and he's kind of happy and jolly and he's like, mate, this is the way that, a little cock a snook at the sort of establishment that he had to come up the hard way through Melbourne and Yokohama and Glasgow. We get it.
Yeah.
But when you're taking over a club, and look, a lot of people out there, particularly youngsters, will still think Nottingham Forest are a club that have come up from the Championship. And yes, they were a big old name back in the 70s and 80s. But the expectation amongst Forest fans is still very high. Yeah. And it's rightfully high because they've had some really good teams over the years that have competed for big trophies. So Ange coming in on the back of a Europa League win, yeah, great, wonderful. But that isn't going to take them forward into getting to where they need to be in the league and maybe the Europa League this year. So Ange has got to be a little bit more contrite, say, I've got it wrong. We're going to keep 2 or 3 clean sheets in the next 4 or 5 games and build from there. And I think he gets a little bit of wiggle room to take him to the end of November.
Bit tight for time, but we've got a couple of minutes on England. Headlines were no Bellingham, Foden or Grealish. Maybe Wharton deserved a chance. What's your take on the squad, Stem?
Yeah, I like it. He's basically saying, Thomas Tuchel, you've got to be better than what we've got. If you're not better than what we've got, we've only played 6 games this season, so I'm sorry, Jack Grealish, you've got to do it for 38 games. I'm sorry, Phil Foden, you've got to do it for 38 games. And I think that puts enough pressure on players that are not in the squad to want to play and maintain their form throughout a whole season. And that, for me, is the epitome of the last performance against Serbia, where it was, we all came away and we said, hey, we might have a better B team than we do these England Galacticos that we're all putting as number 1 to 11. So players like Elliot Anderson have got in, they've earned the shirt. And that's absolutely right. So I think he's firing a warning shot across the bows of the likes of Grealish, Foden, Bellingham. Got to do better. Keep doing better and you'll get back in the squad.
Brilliant. Stan Collymore's with us. We're going to be looking at 3 big games this weekend, kicking off tonight, actually. Bournemouth-Fulham, live on talkSPORT. Leeds-Spurs, live on talkSPORT tomorrow lunchtime. And then Chelsea-Liverpool. We'll keep you updated on that one. And we're going to try and predict the scores. We'll be joined by one of the panel beaters, a talkSPORT listener, Nigel Adderley, and that's coming up in a few moments' time. We're here, as always, with Toolstation, ready to help at over 580 stations. Next stop, Toolstation. Time for the Falls panel then. That point of the show, we look at 3 big games over the weekend and try and predict the scores, 2 of which you'll hear live on talkSPORT, kicking off tonight with Bournemouth Fulham. We have a league table that builds. We get 3 points for getting our predictions absolutely spot on, scores the lot, 1 point for getting the outcome of the game right, now for getting it wrong. And these are the standings. The only scorer, I won't bore you with it all, the only scorer last week was Andy Jacobs. He got 1 point. It was a really tough week to predict. Yeah. Everybody got nils. That does still mean Andy stays bottom, though, on 9. Then it's Nick, the Arsenal fan. They're on 10. I'm on 11. Pros are on 12. Stan, of course. And the commentator's top of the tree after a terrible season last season.
That's good.
And representing the commentators today is Nigel Adderley. Good afternoon, Nige.
Afternoon, guys. Pressure's on now.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. From the top, it brings a different kind of pressure, as Arne Slot will tell you. So, have you got a commentary game this weekend, Nige? Nigel?
Sorry, guys. I'm just in a very dodgy area, so apologies.
Oh, what? You mean in terms of reception, or is it the hood you're driving through now? It's Chesham, isn't it? It's not the hood.
No, it certainly isn't. No. We should be okay.
Okay, good. Okay, then.
Good news.
And we got a Leeds fan joining us. Leeds fan, Andrew, the Leeds fan. Hi, Andrew.
Hiya, guys. How you all doing?
Yeah.
You well?
How are you feeling about life as a Leeds fan after the start you've made? Happy?
Yeah, loving it. I was one of those who I wasn't sure about Daniel Farke, but yeah, we've had a great start and very lucky last week with Bournemouth, by the way.
Yeah, well, we're going to kick off there, so you've had a look at them. Bournemouth versus Fulham will kick us off then. First game, as we said, commentators top of the tree. Nigel, take it away.
Yeah, I think that Bournemouth have done superbly at home. I think Fulham have been unlucky, as they so often are with VAR, particularly at this stage of the season. I think that will continue. I think Bournemouth will win 2-1.
2-1 Bournemouth.
Down 2.
Okay, well, we know Andy's going to go with 2-1. Yeah, you're right not to go chasing it this early, Andy, with mad scores, 3-alls and 4-3s. Stan, what about this one for you?
Yeah, I like a stat to just back up any opinions. Bournemouth have lost just 2 of their last 16 league meetings with Fulham, winning 8, drawing 6, and Fulham have lost each of their last 3 Premier League visits to the South Coast. Bournemouth 2, Fulham 0, straightforward for me.
2-0, okay. I don't see there being a lot of goals in it, because Fulham have not been defending too badly. I'm going to go 1-0 Bournemouth on the night. Andrew, what about you?
I think both teams started well, so I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Okay, right. Yeah, good.
Interesting.
And Andy, we know you fancy the 2-1.
2-1, yeah, the 2-1.
2-1 to Bournemouth, no problem at all. That one is live this evening on talkSPORT. Well, the next one, both myself and Andrew have got skin in the game. It's tomorrow lunchtime, game day, 12:30, Leeds United versus Spurs. Nige?
Yeah, I don't want to offend Andrew in any way. I think Leeds pick up a lot of points, or a lot of their points at home this season. But despite the other night in Norway, I think Tottenham are gradually getting better, and Thomas Frank will get the message across. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say Tottenham will win 3-1.
Wow, okay. Big 3-1 win for Spurs. I think one of the 3 goals are coming from. You never know. Stan, what about you?
Leeds United have lost 9 of their last 11 Premier League games against Tottenham Hotspur, including each of the last 4 in a row. But Leeds United are unbeaten at home. 1 win, a couple of draws, of course. But Spurs, this is the crucial one for me. Spurs have scored 7 in 3 Premier League away games, so they like going on away days. Leeds United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 2.
He's gone 2-1. I'm very tempted on that. We were hearing from Thomas Frank. Randall Collymore is still not over that dead leg. I mean, how dead is that leg? Surely after 4 weeks, they should be sawing it off, shouldn't they? The bloke's not been injured in his life till he comes to the Tottenham Hotspur sick bay and he's out for 4 games. Anyway, I'm not bitter. We are very reliant on Richie. You're right, they have scored a lot of goals away from home. I'm going to agree with you, Stan. I think Tottenham will find a way. It might not be pretty, but I'll go 2-1. Andrew, how do you see it as a Leeds fan? Hello, Andrew.
Didn't like the fact that you've all gone against this team.
We've lost Andrew. He won't talk to us after what we said. I can ask where we're going to get them both back on. Andy, in the meantime, you can tell us what you make of it.
Spurs are definitely better away from home than they have been at the Tottenham Stadium. That's quite Thomas Frankish, actually. He tends to win a lot of games away, then a lot of games at home, but never quite home and away.
Well, I think they're trying to get the grips with the defence first, which I think he needed to do. So what do you reckon, Andy?
But I think Leeds are quite effective. I'm going to go 1-1 in this.
1-1, okay. I think we got Andrew, the Leeds fan, back. Andrew, what about this one then? Your place tomorrow morning.
Yeah, head over heart. I'm going to go with my heart. Leeds 2, Tottenham 1.
Okay, and good stuff. talkSPORT listeners home in the car. Next up, you'll be kept in touch with us during the phone-in tomorrow evening. You'll be at this one, Andy, won't you?
I will.
Chelsea versus Liverpool. And Nigel, once again, you're going to kick us off.
Yeah, I don't think the drama with Jose really happened the other night in the Champions League because once Chelsea scored, I don't think Benfica were good enough. Obviously, Liverpool lost as well in the Champions League, but I think they will gel, and I think that they will be the similar levels of last season. And I think it might start tomorrow. I'm going to say Chelsea 1, Liverpool 2.
OK, Chelsea 1, Liverpool 2. Stan.
Liverpool are winless in the last 4 Premier League games at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea's form, bit hit and miss. A little stat about Alexander Isak. It's getting a little bit of starting to get a little bit of mild criticism. He scored in his last 2 games for Newcastle at the Bridge and lost both. And only Rod Wallace has scored at the Bridge 3 times on the bounce and lost. So he might be looking at a little bit of history. I'm going to go Chelsea 1, Liverpool 1.
Any positive team news coming out of your place, Andy? You got anybody back for tomorrow?
We've got 10 injuries, 10 players missing tomorrow. So it's very difficult for him.
I think I'm kind of with Nigel. I think it'd be pretty tight, but I think Liverpool might just find a way to nick it. I'm going to go 2-1 to Liverpool. Andrew.
I think Liverpool will have too much for Chelsea, and I'm going to go Chelsea 1, Liverpool 3.
Wow, OK. Well, Andy, give us an alternative take on it.
It's often a draw, even when we're rubbish. I mean, the problem is, you've got Badashier's only played 1 game, full game.
Yeah. And
Achimpong, that's your centre-halves for tomorrow against Liverpool's attack. But Chelsea have got weapons, and Chelsea, I think, can score. So I'm going to be optimistic. I don't think they can win, but I think they can get a draw. I'm going to go 2-2.
2-2. Yeah, they got Mamardashvili playing his first game.
Yeah, he's very good.
He is a very good keep, but it is his first game in the Premier League, so that could be a bit of a leveller. Excellent. Well, thank you, Andrew. I'd say enjoy the game tomorrow, but I wouldn't mean it as a Tottenham fan, but good to talk to you.
Yeah, you too. Let's hope Spurs stay Spursy.
Yeah, indeed. Well, they generally do, but for my sake, I hope they don't tomorrow. Thank you, Nige. Safe journey. All the best.
Cheers, guys. Have a good weekend, everyone.
There we are, this Nigel Adderley. And thank you, Stan. We will catch up with you next week.
The Feyenoord conquering European Villa.
Yep, Stan with us around the same time next week. Still to come this afternoon, Andy's nonsense, with nonsense by numbers. Of course, yes. Andy's list of many stupid things. Yeah. Some more of your emails about very short-lived jobs in the Ange envelope. We'll hear from the Gaffers, a very upbeat, very chipper Mikel Arteta today. Well, they're going rather well, and then they've got West Ham at the weekend, so he is obviously quite chipper at the moment. And clips of the week, fresh batch of clips of the week, plus Todd Mlin with the best stories from the round of the world of American sport. That's all to come in the final hour.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Commercial vehicles that go the distance for your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Good afternoon, I'm Hugo Chambray. The headline from Thomas Tuchel's latest England squad, no Jude Bellingham. But the manager claims it's not because he doesn't deserve to be there.
Are there players out who deserve to be with us? Yes, for sure. Is there a way back into this into the team through performance? 100% for sure.
Just like Ringo Starr, Tuchel says Bellingham lacks rhythm. It'll be a third missed England camp in a row for Phil Foden, but Pep Guardiola says he'll be back when, not if.
Thomas knows what he needs for the national team 1,000 times, a million times, trillion times better than me. All I can say, if Phil is still playing like he's playing.
Cole Palmer remains injured with a groin issue. Enzo Maresca won't commit to a date for his return. England play Wales on Thursday in a friendly before heading to Latvia for a World Cup qualifier next Tuesday. Both of those matches will be live on talkSPORT. Elsewhere, Thomas Frank has confirmed Christian Romero will start against Leeds tomorrow. Randall Kolo Muani has returned to training but won't travel. Spurs' trip to Leeds is live and exclusive on talkSPORT tomorrow lunchtime. In F1, Aston Martin CEO says Christian Horner is ringing up pretty much every team owner to find a way back into the sport. Andy Cowell says there are no plans for the former Red Bull boss to be involved in Aston Martin, though. And a dream start for England in their first match at the Women's Cricket World Cup. They bowled South Africa out for just 69 runs to win by 10 wickets. Next up for England is Bangladesh on Tuesday. There's more on our website at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
A victim of yesterday's synagogue attack in Manchester was shot by police as they tried to target the killer. And Dame Sarah Mullally has been named as the first female Archbishop of Canterbury. There's more from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Today it's raining tyres in our centres, including top-notch brands like Pirelli. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Cloudy, damp and breezy. Storm Amy is coming in from the west, bringing heavy rain and wind. In the north this afternoon, those winds will be strong and damaging.
Paddy Power on talkSPORT. Check out Paddy's latest offers on the Paddy Power app or at paddypower.com. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Yes, time now for Paddy's Bet Builder with our good friends at Paddy Power. Ben Steele's going to join us, going to look ahead to Sunday's game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's the NFL regular season match between the Minnesota Vikings and the Cleveland Browns. Before we get to the picks, though, tell us a little bit more, Ben, about the NFL showdown and Peter Crouch's kick of destiny.
Hi, yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good. Yeah, so Crouchy, a couple of weeks ago on his podcast, he was talking about how he'd got into the NFL and he thought the job of a kicker was looked pretty easy. You just sort of jog on, take a kick, jog back off again. Don't have to do anything too much else. So obviously, with Paddy Power being the official betting partner of the NFL in the UK and Ireland, we've pulled a few strings and got a little challenge for him. He's look, maybe a bit unkind to say, but he's probably familiar with clearing the crossbar at a stadium in Tottenham. So we're giving him an attempt to get the cheers for that rather than the boos. And he's going to be attempting a 25-yard field goal out on the pitch on Sunday. If he
That's a chip shot, 25 yards.
Yeah, look, we can't be putting him back at 50 yards or so, can we?
I'd made it 40 yards, I think.
40, okay, well.
Okay. But the thing is, he's going to get a surprise because in American football, we're talking about ball pressures.
Yeah.
They are so hard. It's quite a difficult thing to kick.
Yeah. So he's done a little bit of training out with Jason Bell, who you'll know from the TV coverage.
Sure.
Supposedly is looking okay, but we wait to see if he can do it in front of the crowd. But it's not just Crouchy's personal pride that will be on the line here. There's something in it for the punters as well. Paddy's NFL Showdown as our free-to-play game. The jackpot is normally £40,000. This week, if he's successful, we'll be boosting that up to 100,000 for any players who can get a win on Showdown this weekend. But that is only
Jason could
if
just
he's
cross it to him. He could nod it over the bar.
He could. That's it. I mean, he hasn't got. NFL physique really. You don't get many sort of 6'7" tall.
No, you don't.
Long-legged players in the NFL.
Well, definitely not kicking.
Anyway, the bet builder. We've got 5 legs of the bet builder. I'll kick us off. Pretty straightforward. Vikings win. I've seen loads of Vikings fans bowling around near our studios, so they're all out and about in London enjoying themselves, and I think they're probably going to enjoy themselves on Sunday.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. Obviously, there's a few of them probably making the double header, having been in Dublin last week, where unfortunately they obviously saw their side lose to Pittsburgh. But the Browns are a little bit of an unknown this week. They've got a rookie quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, who'll be making history, I think, as the first quarterback to make his NFL debut abroad. But Paul, you're obviously back in the more experienced side to get the win there, which I think is fair enough.
They've also had a week longer to get used to.
They have, yeah. They've acclimatised. Yeah. Andy, you've gone with one of the star players.
Yeah, Carson Wentz, the quarterback, to throw for 175 plus yards.
Yeah, so this is another good one there. So again, you're back in the experienced quarterback over the rookie Gabriel. Wentz has been in the league since 2016. He was his second overall pick. He was on a team that won the Super Bowl, didn't actually start for them, but it was a big part of that team. Last week, he had 350 yards, so we're just halving that to get himself down to 175, even though Cleveland's defense are pretty decent.
Producer Sean has gone with Jordan Mason, anytime touchdown.
He has, yeah. Look, the Vikings are favourites at 1-2 to win the game, and Mason is the favourite in the touchdown market at 10-11. He's the only Minnesota Viking to have scored more than once this season, and to be honest, the main sort of contention for the Vikings offense will be Myles Garrett, who's an incredible pass rusher. So I'd say getting after Mason on the run game is a good idea for them.
The people, the most popular bet amongst the Paddy punters on their bet builders, Justin Jefferson over 70.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, the people. Obviously, we run this last week. When we did the Vikings Steelers game, the people backed Justin Jefferson over 76 yards in that game, and he flew past that 126 yards, no touchdowns, but 126 yards in the game last week, linking up with Wentz nicely. And look, if Wentz is going to get to 175 yards, he's going to have to be reliant on Jefferson there. That's 5 to 6 to come in there.
And what about you, Ben? What you gone with?
Well, I was maybe feeling a little bit sorry for the Browns there. It's been very Minnesota focused. So I've gone for Quinshon Judkins, who's the rookie running back for the Cleveland Browns to score. He's the only Cleveland Brown to have scored a touchdown in either of the last 2 weeks. And again, a little bit like we were saying with Mason and the Vikings, they'll be wanting to let their quarterback Gabriel get into sort of the rhythm of the game early and look for Judkins early on. He's 5 to 4.
That sounds a bit Key and Peele, Quinshon Judkins, doesn't it?
Great.
There's much bigger and better names than that out there. He's long retired, but Barkevius Mingo was a favourite of mine. And
yes, tremendous.
Equiminius St. Brown is knocking around.
Yeah.
I think he's playing for the Packers at the moment.
Okay.
There's a lot of names out there.
Yeah, good stuff. Nice one. So if this all comes off, what we're looking at? Just remind us what we're looking at if we manage to pull this off.
Yeah, sure. Yes, I'll just run through the picks again quickly. That's Vikings win, Wentz over 175 passing yards, Jordan Mason and Quinshon Judkins anytime touchdowns, and Justin Jefferson over 70.5 receiving yards. That comes in at 14-1 for this bet builder. So we'll place a £10 bet on that, which will return £150, including stake. And look, if we're lucky enough to have found a winning bet there, we'll be donating that to the Attitude Foundation, who do a lot of great work supporting the LGBTQ community across the country.
Thank you, Ben. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Have a good one. See you later.
Ben Steele from Paddy Power there. That's Paddy's bet builder for today. Minimum odds 1 to 5 per leg. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org. And that game will be live on talkSPORT on Sunday.
Paddy Power on talkSPORT. Check out Paddy's latest offers on the Paddy Power app or at paddypower.com. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Angie's chatting to the press today, which will be interesting. We've been asking you about short-lived jobs. This is right up there. When I was out of work, I went to an agency who got me a job in a well-known Yorkshire pudding factory in Hull. Hundreds of Yorkshire puddings coming down a conveyor belt at me. I'm getting sort of modern times Charlie Chaplin vibe here. I had to stack them 6 foot high. And couldn't, 6 high, not 6 foot high.
6 foot
couldn't grasp
cricket, that would be
couldn't grasp it, and then was moved on to sweeping the floor, then not asked back the next night. So no gold watch there. This is a corker though. This is Dodge in Bradford. I went out to celebrate landing a new job. got drunk, overslept, got in late, and then got told to go home as soon as I went there.
Oh dear, not a great start, really.
That's a corker. I think we've got time for you want to dip into some of your cuttings, Andy.
Yes, I just want to do this little letter before we get onto the main ones. It's in the Star today. I love this. It's great. This is from a bloke called Haz. He writes and he says, "Good to hear 91% of people prefer soup in a bowl. I buy cup of soup, but serve it in a bowl. I alternate chicken, vegetable, and minestrone for my... Honestly,
you've got to have a system.
I know, but why would you publish that? And B, why would you think that's of any interest to anybody else, what your soup habits are?
Really?
It's amazing, isn't it?
Where's this? I used to write a column in our Sunday Team Gazette, these Supergrass files, where I basically grassed up players for being out late before a game, and I was one of them. Once I saw our centre-back stumbling down the road, highly inebriated and eating fish cakes and chips. The second mention of the fish cake was the aforementioned subaquatic treat. That's very good.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Go and squeeze a couple in. Can I give you a number? And he's got so many of these old mad cuttings that he's numbered them 1 to 100, was it?
133.
133. Can I go 89?
89.
Can you find 89? Tell us what that story is. It could be anything. It's real pot luck.
Apparently it's the toughest tongue twister, which is going to be quite hard for me to say.
Okay, well, yeah.
It is the sixth sick shake sick sheep sick. Believed to be the toughest tongue twister in the English language.
It is.
There you go.
Well, I'm not repeating it.
No.
So fair enough.
I don't know. I did that without getting taken off air.
Yeah.
Give me another number.
47.
47.
Yeah.
Let's have a look what that might be in the song sheet.
What have we got for number 47?
Star weather story.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yes,
Was it one of those where it's like there's a hurricane going to hit Bridlington?
Basically.
There isn't, by the way, but they're the sort of called nitwit stories that you sometimes get. Just attack the microphone there. Sorry about
that. It does have a bit of... I think I've put it in because it does have a bit of tabloid thesaurus.
Oh, okay. Good.
It says, Storm Amy is set to spark mayhem with 65-mile-an-hour gales and torrential downpours as two more tempests threaten early autumn.
Tempests,
You can't say storms twice.
Time for one more. Can I go for 64?
64.
What have you got for 64, Andy?
Let's have a look on my song sheet.
And down there, trying to find 64.
Oh, it's Posh People News. You like?
Oh, I like a bit of Posh People News. This is where, is this what, like the court circular or just...
Well, no, just where sort of tabloid...
This has basically become the whole of the Evening Standard now, so you could just read that from cover to cover. But to find out what people you don't care about or you've never heard of are doing.
That's what I find. I mean, most of these, for example, the Mail and something, it's a pretty much a middle-class audience thing. I don't know why these people would be interested in these people, but the paper deems that they are.
They just like to imagine us all with our face pressed against the window like it's Oliver or something.
I know.
Yeah, go on then.
He's the heir to Cowdray Park in West Sussex.
Who is?
I'm going to tell you.
Not Colin.
No.
Okay.
And as aristocratic as they come, but could Peregrine Pearson... can't not be posh if your name's Peregrine Pearson.
Peregrine Pearson.
Peregrine Pearson.
Peregrine Pearson, yeah. What about
Sophie Turner's chauffeur. After a date...
He's Sophie Turner's chauffeur. How can he afford a place like that?
I don't know.
There's obviously more money in chauffeuring than I thought.
After a date at the Devonshire in central London, Perry took the wheel of his Jeep while his actor girlfriend sat pretty, in terms of a photo of
sitting pretty, yeah.
Sat pretty on the back seat.
Okay.
That's a bit odd, isn't it?
He is probably he's like a cabbie. Maybe he's using the Jeep to do a bit of Uber.
It's a bit mad, isn't it, that she was in the back and he was in the front.
Yeah, that's how he's afforded it. Just you've got a sort of side hustle.
As Peregrine whizzed through Soho, my spy spotted a personalised number plate, including the word gun. Tremendous. I don't know what that's got to do with anything.
Okay, well, brilliant. Some Posh People News there. That'll do us.
Yeah,
and you can dip into it again next week. Because Todd Mlin joins us next. We've got some weird and wonderful stories from the world of American sport. There was an NFL game last night, and we were talking about sort of rookies and second string. Well, it was a big night for some of the B-teamers, as Todd will explain. We'll have some clips of the week, and we will hear from the managers going into this weekend's games in the Premier League. Don't forget, for Andy Goldstein and Darren Benter here as always with Drive, and our live football kicks off tonight at the Vitality, Bournemouth versus Fulham, and you can get your calls after that match into the Sports Bar Weekender with Adam Cattrall and Jermaine Pennant. But we're talking to Todd Mlin next. We're here with Tool Station. Next stop, Tool Station. Time to talk American sports with Todd Mlin. Hi, Todd.
Hi, boys.
There was a game last night, overnight, of course. 49ers beat the Rams 26-29 in overtime without their sort of star quarterback. But the quarterback that did play, Mac Jones, had a really good game.
Biggest upset of the NFL season so far. So if you go off the point spread, so the point spread started Rams favored by 5.5. It got up to 8.5. Oh. That was the point spread in the Rams' favor to start that game. You mentioned Brock Purdy, the 49ers quarterback, out. Also, their 4 top pass catchers. So George Kittle, their tight end, they're one of the best tight ends in football, not playing for the 49ers. And their top 3 receivers, all not playing for the 49ers. It was a Thursday game, right? So a short week. 49ers on the road. The Rams were playing great. The Rams had the same record as the 49ers at 3-1. It should have been a blowout for the Rams. And obviously it wasn't. The 49ers won in overtime. So just a terrific result if you're a 49ers fan. If you're a Rams fan, absolutely crushing to lose a game that you just simply should have won.
Yeah, $265 million deal they'd just given Brock Purdy. And I saw a few people saying they don't need to. Mac Jones is the man. But that's, you know what fans are like. So. Yeah.
No, but what it does is it gives Brock Purdy some time to heal.
Yeah.
Right? If Mac Jones goes in there and struggles, you look at it and you're like, the 49ers, oh man, we don't want to give away the season. So you think about rushing Brock Purdy back. Now you don't have to, right? You got a very capable guy in there in Mac Jones that you can give Brock Purdy time to hopefully get healthy, and then he comes back and you should be in a pretty good spot.
He's got a toe injury, I think. Mac Jones turned up to the game in a real statement two-tone suit. If you're watching on social media or indeed on YouTube.
Oh my goodness!
He looks like he's one of the background dancers for the Michael Jackson Thriller musical. Yeah. It's a black and red half and half jacket, no socks, pair of loafers on, trousers halfway up his leg. You know the look. So I mean, he was obviously incredibly confident going in to dress like that, and then he went out and played with that sort of confidence. Todd.
And like guardsman's trousers.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
What a terrible
Don't
look.
get any of us can carry it off.
The story to come out this morning is that Kyle Shanahan, the head coach of the 49ers, told the media that he went to Mac Jones and said, hey, I can't believe that we're such a big underdogs in this game. We're the biggest underdogs, one of the biggest underdogs of the season. And apparently it fired up Mac Jones.
Wow.
And they went out and shocked the world, as I mentioned, with the biggest upset of the season so far.
Now,
you know why Todd's making a long point on that?
Yeah.
He's
trying to.
He doesn't want to talk about the next
Doesn't
story.
want to come on to the next. I'm surprised.
No, I don't.
I'm surprised.
You see right through me, Andy, don't you?
I'm surprised he's not wearing a black armband because the Yankees were knocked out. Sorry, the Red Sox were knocked out of the playoffs, and that's Todd's team. But by the Yankees, that makes it even worse.
Yeah, I've been crying for the last 12 hours, so that's probably part of it too. You're right. The wild card series in the American League, one of the wild card series was Yankees Red Sox. It's just simply the best rivalry in baseball, one of the best in North American sport. The Red Sox won game one. It's a best 2 out of 3. All the games at Yankee Stadium. That's the way it works. So the Red Sox won game 1, but the Yankees roared back to win the next 2 games. So the Yankees will be moving on in the American League Divisional Series. They'll meet the Blue Jays. So they'll be up here in Toronto for the first 2 games, Saturday and Sunday. So the big story is Cam Schlittler.
Yeah.
Man, I spent 10 minutes
well
practicing
done, Todd.
that.
Well done.
And I did get it right, guys. Cam Schlittler, the rookie pitcher for the Yankees. Guys, just hear this out. 8 shutout innings, 12 strikeouts, no walks in the game last night. It's the first time in the history of baseball a pitcher has ever done that.
Wow.
Think about how crazy that is.
How
over
many
100
games?
years
Yeah.
of playoff baseball. Cam Schlittler is the first. 8 shutout innings, 12 strikeouts, no walks. So it's just an incredible performance to lift the Yankees into the next round.
It's a shame his name's not Luke. That would have been perfect.
Would have been
for the darts fans. Now, over in the NBA, Steph Curry's brother has joined Golden State Warriors.
I didn't know he was a player. Didn't know he had it.
Seth, he's been around a bit. He's played around sort of different teams, but he's finally rocked up at Golden State. And there was a funny little bit in the press conference we'll play now. Tom can tell us more about what kind of player he is. But Steph wears 30, and, people buy all their replica shirts, and they love the 30. And apparently Seth has worn 30 at some of the other teams he's played for. So this is what they asked him in the press conference.
Did you try to buy 30 off your brother?
Yeah, I tried to buy it from him. He said he didn't need the money. So I don't think the NBA would like that either.
Yeah, no, that's very true. The NBA certainly wouldn't like that because the amount of money they make from. So, has he got a chance? You think he'll get to play games?
Oh, there's no question he will. Yeah, he's a veteran player. He's been in the league a number of years, and he said this just felt like the right time to kind of hook up with Steph in Golden State. Golden State is in their go for it zone, right? Steph, Draymond Green, they're all at the end of their careers. Seth Curry's a veteran. Like, they're looking for veteran guys to try and win another championship for Golden State. And it kind of fits. Yeah, he's an outside shooter like Steph, obviously not as good, but he shoots the ball from the outside. I think it's probably going to be a great year as long as everyone's healthy, a great year for the Curry brothers to play together. Yeah. May not win a championship, but they're going to be competitive, and I think the brothers are going to have a great time together.
Now, LeBron James, staying with basketball, talked about his future, and he said the most obvious thing, look, we're much nearer the end than we are the beginning. Well, we all know that.
Yeah, we all know that.
But there was a few stories. He played with his son, Bronny, at the Lakers. And so there was a few stories saying he might stick around to play with Bryce as well, which would make it very special. Bryce is 18 at the moment, his other son. But he kind of nipped that in the bud. So make of that what you will. This is what he had to say.
I'm not sitting here. No, I'm not waiting on Bryce. No, I don't know what his timeline is. He's his own young man now. Like, he's down in Tucson. We'll see what happens this year, next year, but he has his own timeline. I got my timeline, and I don't know if they quite match up, but we see.
What does that tell us, Todd? How long do you think he'll keep playing for?
Well, just so Bryce, the youngest son, is 18. He's at the University of Arizona. And again, you could be one and done. So it could be next year Bryce is in the NBA, although I highly doubt it. Listen, I think LeBron's taking it year by year. I just think he's going to see how his body felt. I mean, the year he put up last year, no one has ever put up, like at his age, to put up the numbers he's still putting up and playing at the level he's still playing at. Listen, I would not be surprised he could play 2 or 3 more years, which would fit with the timeline. But we'll see. I think it is kind of a year by year for LeBron.
And finally, we all know that the new Pope, Leo, is a White Sox fan, Chicago White Sox fan. And some enterprising soul got him to sign a ball, a baseball. Pope. It doesn't say, it just says Pope Leo, the 14th. So, but the guy's selling it now. I don't
think that's right.
I don't either.
He shouldn't. If he's going to give it all the Catholic Church or whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he plans to or to pocket it. But they reckon $10,000 it could reach a Pope signed ball.
My sense is he's going to pocket it all, and I agree with Andy. I'm like, come on, it just feels wrong. Right? I don't think the Pope was thinking about, hey, this guy's going to put it on and try and make thousands of it. Yeah, it just feels wrong to me. Just, yeah.
Mind you, I have got his rookie card, which I'm thinking selling.
Apparently a Pope Francis baseball sold for $18,750.
Really?
Earlier this year.
Wow.
So, if you happen to meet the Pope at any point, keep a baseball on you. Just see if he'll sign it, because pay for a nice holiday, I would imagine.
That's not good.
Nice one.
Thanks, Todd.
Thank you, Todd. We'll catch up with you next week.
See you, boys. I'm going to go back to crying about the Red Sox.
Oh, dear. Let's go Red Sox. And out of the playoffs.
Well.
Todd Mlin, they're back next week. Now, the NFL is back in London, and talkSPORT 2 are going to bring you live commentary of all 3 games in the series, starting this Sunday as the Browns take on the Vikings. Chatting about it earlier on at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. You'll also be able to see the team if you head to our talkSPORT USA YouTube channel, as they'll be hosting a live watch-along from the stadium with plenty of extra content. That's Cleveland Browns versus Minnesota Vikings, live over on talkSPORT 2 this Sunday afternoon from 2 p.m. Clips of the week coming up next. We're going to hear from the gaffers, I believe including Ange Postecoglou, who's had to face the press in a pretty quick turnaround after that defeat
the last thing
in Europe last night. You know how much he loves a press conference.
Yeah.
So we'll hear from him, I'm sure, Mikel Arteta, Thomas Frank and others ahead of the weekend's football. That gets underway tonight on talkSPORT with Bournemouth Fulham live at 8.
Thomas Tuchel's shocked a few people with his latest England squad announced this morning. The headline, no Jude Bellingham. Is there a rift developing between the two?
No, there's also no problem between me and Phil Foden. There's no problem between me and Jack Grealish. Very special players. Phil is back to influencing games, deciding games for Manchester City. Jack is very close to be the best version of himself.
Tuchel's not called up either Foden or Grealish either. Troy Deeney says all the chat around Bellingham and team spirit is a double standard.
Well, there's concerns that he's not in the squad because it's about team spirit. They're looking at it, what happens if he's not there. But we don't have the same conversations around Harry Kane if he's injured. We don't have the same conversations around Jordan Pickford.
England will take on Wales in a friendly next Thursday before heading to Latvia in World Cup qualifying on Tuesday. Both of those games will be live on talkSPORT. Elsewhere, Arne Slot's confirmed Hugo Ekitike could play for Liverpool this weekend. The striker's back in training, but Alisson won't be fit in time. Slot said he'd be surprised if the keeper's ready for the first game back from the international break. Meanwhile, Eddie Howe says it's regretful that Newcastle had to sell Elliot Anderson. The midfielder left the North East for Forest as part of a PSR-busting transfer last summer. This, as he's also confirmed, it'll be another 8 weeks before we see Johan Visser in a Newcastle shirt. And Rodrigo Bentancur has signed a fresh long-term contract at Spurs.
The week on talkSPORT with Toolstation. Next stop, Toolstation.
talkSPORT clips of the week. Yes, time once again for the clips of the week with Toolstation. 15 we have for you this week. And shall I kick us off, Andy? I'll kick us off, as we have over many times during the years, with Alan Brazil on breakfast. Shocking his co-host Gabby Agbonlahor with an upcoming road trip.
talkSPORT breakfast with me, Alan Brazil, and Gabby and Arnold Clark. Get $7.50 off any used electric car or home charger. We're up in Glasgow, aren't we, coming up?
Sounds like he doesn't like the sound of it. Spat his water everywhere. Glasgow.
This is Weekend Overnight's regular Stuart Armour with a question for presenter Ben Fletcher.
What are your thoughts on the Tony Carvery roast dinner?
Toby Carvery,
yeah.
Love it.
No, I prefer the Tony Carvery.
Tony, they started Tony and Toby, but they're like the Puma and Adidas, Adi Dassler and all that, and they both started Carveries. But obviously Toby got a bit more. The Tony Carvery is not great.
I always go to Cass's house on a Sunday for his all-you-can-eat roast.
Really? That's very good. I'll have to remember that. Sounds good. Anyway, staying with Fletch, here he is with the sports news.
Good afternoon. There we go. Arne Slot needs to get a grip on Liverpool's defensive problem.
You need to get a grip on his name.
Yeah, you do need to get a grip on his name, Fletch, definitely, yeah.
Tremendous. Let's have some more sports news now with Emma Kerwin.
Hertzler tells United he's flattened but spoken for. He's flattered, not flattered.
Yeah, that's a lovely one.
Who's you been?
I love the little laugh there from Emma.
Who's flattened him? Well, she was sitting next to us. She knew she was going to be in the clips of the week again, didn't she? Back to Big Alan on Welsh football.
Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney's Wrexham, they've been brilliant. Have won just 2 of the first 8 league games.
No, not that brilliant. No. Not quite so brilliant there.
Staying with Al in Wales and with Ali on breakfast, what's the first name of the Newport chairman?
Oh yeah, the Newport chairman. Is it Jenkins? It's something.
I can never remember.
It's something. Anyway, let's find out.
Let's talk to owner and chairman of Newport County, Hugh Jenkins. Hugh, a very, very good morning.
Hugh, very good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Hugh? Are you there, Hugh?
I'm here.
Right, we got you, Hugh. Thank you. Thanks for joining us, Hugh. Hugh,
Hugh, it's Hugh, isn't it? That's it. I'm surprised he didn't say thank you, Hugh. He never got round to the thank you.
I did say the tech up when I'm calling Hugh.
Yeah, what shall I say when I'm calling Hugh?
Exactly.
It's a good recovery from Alex Crook, who was talking about West Ham.
Callum Wilson is a massive risk because he is a player who's had a lot of injuries over the last couple of years. I think defensively, there's a reason they're conceding so many goals from set pieces.
Yeah, good recovery there, Crookie. Yeah, the set pieces.
And a slightly less good recovery from Reshman Chowdhury at Brentford.
Tell you what's quite telling after that game is that Keith Andrews stayed with his staff. They hugged, they fist pumped, they cheered.
Well, they probably did, after a game. Some of them had to go to testing, didn't they? It's always difficult when you have to go testing after a game of football. That's a weird pump. And we were shocked to hear Jeff Stelling read this text out on breakfast.
Dominic in Wigan says, Jeff Gabby, my season ticket for Wigan Warriors is £270 for me, my 12-year-old and a 6-year-old. We can have a beer in the stands.
I hope not, really. I mean, they're pretty good like that, rugby league, but there are certain rules in place. That's not good. The 6-year-old with a pint. Of course not. Of course not. What's next, Andy?
It's Adi Oladipo, pardon, with a question for co-host Rory Jennings.
Who needs a performance?
Benjamin Tesco.
Well, every little helps, doesn't it, really? Who's Benjamin Tesco?
I've no idea.
Come on, let's have your well-known high street supermarket footballers.
Exactly.
I just don't bother with
Brian Little.
Yeah, that's it. Brian Little, that's it, Andy. Well done. Congratulations.
Tremendous.
Anyway. It's me, isn't it? It's back to Emma Kerwin, ahead of a big night in Europe.
And Liverpool players were greeted with a massive early morning fireworks display from Galatasaray flans.
Have you ever had the Galatasaray flan?
It's delicious.
It's like a lot of Turkish. It's very sweet.
Very sweet.
Very sweet. A bit cloying. But I recommend the Galatasaray flan if you get a chance to try it next time you're in Istanbul.
Alan's back now.
Of course he is, yeah.
Alongside Ray Parlour. That's Ray Parlour on breakfast.
7:05, talkSPORT breakfast with me, Brazil, Gabby at Bumhor and Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals.
I'll go there, Bugman.
The what? Oh, yeah, sorry.
Seen about a foot from him.
I know, it's not that difficult, is it, really?
They don't massively look alike either, do they, really?
You just put anything in front of Alan, he'll read it.
As Alan always says when I see him, he says, you try getting up at 5 to 6 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And Al doesn't seem to be just confused about his co-host.
That was a look at our top headlines. Thanks to November. I can't believe it's 1st of November.
Phone on me.
Yeah, it's not, Al. That's why you can't believe it, because you've got about nearly a month to go.
Definitely. And just time for one more from Alan. Looking ahead.
England squad for the game against Wales and Latvia coming up next on talkSPORT. Then it's over at beautiful Ascot for Sam Batterface.
Sam
Batterface, which is, a lot of people don't know that Sam owns a chippy that he works in. Yeah, they're called Sam Batterface. And Lee Dixon works in there with him. And he'll say, and you see Sam front of the house, it'll be about 10 minutes. 2 bits of haddock for Jean, please, Lee. And Crookie works there, loads all the chips up. It's a lovely, if you get a chance, you're up in Manchester, Sam Batterface. And finally, Paul Ross seemed quite taken by his female guest on Extra Time.
We love having you on the programme. I really hope we get to talk again. She's been a phenomenal guest. I can feel your enthusiasm.
Well, you're more than welcome to come over anytime.
Oh, I'd love to. I'd love to. I'd give you a go.
Yeah, steady on, Paul. Steady on, Paul. I mean, considering Alan Partridge is back tonight, that seemed perfectly timed.
Very good, wasn't
it? We should thank everybody who suggested clips that were played this week. Nick Ellaby, once again. Dan from Manchester. LCFC. Paul Melton. Andrew West. Matt P. Michael Fawcett. Stefan Pogazalech. Stephen Hull. Ian Ramsey. Steve Smith. Luke Neal. Dan the Cab. And Josh Hall. They all had clips played this week. Thank you very much, guys. All they did was they were listening to talkSPORT or talkSPORT 2 or whatever. We've even had clips from Times Radio and Virgin in recent months. And so if you're listening to any of our stations or sister stations, you hear something you think could make a clip of the week, just jot it down, send it to TSH&J, it's TSHANDJ, talksport.com/H&J. Send it in to us. And if it's played, you'll get a credit. As always, you just need a day and a time when you heard it go out. So we've got a fighting chance of listening back. If you want to hear the clips again, they're available as a podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Just look for TalkSport Clips of the Week, and you can listen to some previous Clips of the Week. There's plenty there. And also the H&J Daily, featuring some of the best bits of this afternoon's show. You'll be able to download that in around 15 minutes' time. So there we are. That was the Clips of the Week with our very good friends at Tool Station. We were asking you about your short-lived careers. We're going to hear from Ange Postecoglou. I bet he was delighted to have to face the press after last night again, but he did, and he had some interesting stuff to say. Does Arne Snott have a bogey team, says Rex? Yes, a very good question, Rex. We were asking ourselves that earlier on. Short-lived career, says Jonathan in London. I did a day on the bins to earn money over the summer whilst at uni 30 years ago. Hard work. This was the days before wheelie bins. You had to pick them up. The metal bin on the back.
That's it.
Called the temp agency when I didn't hear back, read day 2, and was told the full-time bin men had found me too chatty and I was no longer required. Too chatty to be a bin man.
No, he probably worked hard.
Sounds like one of those intros
he worked
on
harder
Only
than
Connect.
He'd worked harder than they did.
That's what it was.
He
was too keen. That's probably what it was. Yeah. When I was 18, I got a job, says Thomas. I got a job with BT on the directory inquiries. Decided to not go back for day 2 after we were told we had to put a full-size traffic cone on our desk where we went for a comfort break.
Really?
That's a bit weird. Very strange.
What strange management that is.
Yeah. What else have we got here? Gary in Wolverhampton. I was starting a job at the local hospital years ago and was doing some online training on the first morning. The guy next to me, after about half an hour, said, "Oh, I've had enough of this." Got up and walked out. Never even actually started the job proper. Was stymied by the online training. And yes, I think we've got one more. I moved 200 miles to London, from London to Leeds to work at my sister and her husband's new company. I went to use the toilet, but it was locked, so I asked why. They said to me, "We keep the toilet locked. If you need to go, then you must come into our office for the key and make sure you lock it after use," he says.
And put a cone on your desk.
Yeah, put a cone on your desk. I lasted as long as that conversation. It was too much for him. Thank you very much for all of those this afternoon. So as we said, we're going to hear from the gaffers ahead of all the weekend's big games very shortly. Then we'll hand over to Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent, who will build up to a big weekend of football, starting tonight on talkSPORT, exclusively live, Bournemouth v Fulham, first game of the Premier League weekend at 8. We're here, as always, with Tool Station, standing behind every single tradesperson of Britain. Next stop, Tool Station. as Rory Jennings gave us Benjamin Tesco earlier on, I did jokingly say, come on, let's have your High Street supermarket footballers. Luke did his best with Gabby as the Bon Lahore, but that's it, really. That's as good as it got. But thank you, Luke. God bless you for trying.
Yeah.
So let's hear from the gaffers ahead of the weekend's game. Pep Guardiola kicks us off. Manchester City take on Brentford on Sunday. And he had a bit of a spiky response after being asked about Rodri's importance to his Manchester City side.
He obviously came off the other night and then you conceded that late equaliser. Are you able to replace him with just one player? Or when he's not in the 11...
Are you suggesting you score because Nico Gonzalez was in the pitch and not Rodri? How you know that? How you prove at that?
I can't prove it.
Me neither. So change the subject.
But does Rodri's place in the team, is it possible to replace him with one man, or do you have to change the whole way you play?
We cannot play with 12. That's for sure. We cannot play with 12.
It's a bit of a daft line of questioning.
Look, I mean, if you're not watching it, he's doing it with a bit of a smile on his face, really. And he knows full well just how important Rodri is.
It's
proved it all last season.
Tricky game for City after, playing in midweek. Brentford very confident after beating United. But I'm going to that one. I think it'll be a good game.
We'll see how much of that feeds into the midweek journeys and stuff, or the midweek matches feeds into what happens at the weekend. Mikel Arteta, Andy, tell us a bit about him.
Yeah, he's going to reach 300 games in charge of the Arsenal when he take on West Ham at the Emirates on Saturday afternoon. And he spoke exclusively to talkSPORT.
I feel very privileged. I'm really enjoying what I do with the people that I do it. And we know in our job is about winning a lot of football matches. You want to stay in the job. And the other one is why we are doing this. Make sure as well that we enjoy our profession because it's got, in my opinion, some of the most beautiful things that you can experience in life. And trying to do both things at the same time.
I did doubt the exclusivity there. Sorry about that. You might have heard that. The thing is, he's at a press conference. He can't be that exclusive.
Well, we asked him. We made sure everybody left the room. Moose kicked everybody out. No other press, just us. Let's hear from Enzo Maresca. I know you like to hear from him, Andy.
Oh, yeah.
He insists that his side don't have a discipline problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember you said to me the other day, what time will our red card be on Wednesday? And what was it, about 92 minutes or something, wasn't it?
And it's Anthony Taylor tomorrow, so I wouldn't bet against another one.
No. OK, they've had a flurry of red cards. This is what Maresca had to say.
You have to analyse case for case. When it's a red card for bad intention or for bad discipline, it's different compared to Man United red card or Brighton red card. In that case, it's just the decision that you have to take in 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Do I do foul or not? It's difficult. So we analyze case for case. Again, I don't see any discipline problem. Even if we consider, I think, 3-4 red card, that is not something normal. But again, it's for different reasons.
Have you deserved all of them? Are there any that you shouldn't have had of those ones?
No, they were all red cards, all of them. Yeah. The Pedro one was just stupid. It's ridiculous.
It was a high foot, wasn't it?
What's the point, mate? Yeah. I mean, I just don't get it. I don't get why you even try to challenge for the ball there like that.
Gusto could have gone last week with a foot up. It was quite dangerous play, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, mind if he had a 3-game ban, to be honest.
Okay.
I don't rate it.
Who would you like to get a red card tomorrow?
Yeah.
What's next is Everton, Andy, isn't it?
It's Everton. They're taking on Crystal Palace this weekend without Dewsbury Hall.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. David Moyes has said the PGMOL have admitted that Dewsbury Hall's last 2 yellow cards were wrong decisions.
Yeah,
we have spoken to them, and I think they're accepting that both their yellow cards were wrong. It's amazing. It's a boy who, I think, if you look through his history, I think he might have had 6 bookings last year in total. I think the year before 5 bookings, and so he's never had these numbers at all. So the last two decisions are terrible, really are. More for the boy. I mean, we're going to miss him greatly, but more for the boy as well, because he's back playing regular now and enjoying his football.
And what I don't get is, if they've admitted it's wrong, why is he banned?
Can't we have a bit of expunging? Yeah. You're not allowed to do that, are you, on yellow cards?
Why not?
I know.
It's ludicrous. He's going to miss a really important game against a difficult team.
Yeah.
I think it's wrong.
I see behind David Moyes there are the words Hill Dickinson and sponsors of their stadium. and you were getting in trouble for saying the Hill Dickinson.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But, we call it the Emirates, but they're not the Emirates Airlines. They're Emirates Airlines, aren't they?
I don't make the rules.
Well, I know you don't. You're just the tool of a large organisation, aren't you?
Very much so.
Okay. David Moyes also gave his reaction to Jack Grealish not being in the England squad.
Well, I'm glad I don't pick the England team, because England teams they've got a great group of players to choose from. Really, really top players all around the country playing. Jack's one of them. Jack's in really good form. And but again, don't pick the England team, and I'm glad I don't.
Yeah, I don't know, that'd be quite a nice problem to have, wouldn't it? But there we go.
Yeah. Anyway, finally, I bet it was all packed press room at the City ground or the training ground. So tell us, it's Ange, isn't it?
It is. It's Ange Postecoglou, and he's talking about reports that he's already under pressure at Forest.
I knew I was getting sacked at Tottenham about 3 or 4 months before I did. Didn't stop me winning something. It doesn't enter my head. My responsibility lies in making sure this football club progresses and gets to a position where it can challenge for things. And if I start putting timelines to that or worrying about what's going to happen next week, then I'm sort of not performing the role that I've been sort of given in terms of that. And I just don't think it's helpful to anyone. At the end of the day, things I control are the environment, the training, the way we play. And as I said last night, I'm still very, very strong in my belief that we're not too far away.
3 or 4 months, that's half the season left. That's just at the point where he binned off the league and concentrated on Europe. We had Tom Barkley.
Well, I think we all knew what was
talking about it yesterday.
Yeah. So, he needs a win, desperately needs a win.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
going to Newcastle. I mean, again, look, I wouldn't fancy their chances of getting anything from Newcastle, but Newcastle have had a big win midweek. They've had a European game.
Played well though, and they were unlucky against Arsenal.
Yeah,
so.
We didn't get around to him from Eddie Howe, but I understand there's been a bit of a setback with Visser.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is a blow for them, because you kind of sense him and Voltemade are going to be good together.
Very much so, yeah.
I'm sure we'll be hearing more of that as the evening unfolds with Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent. They're up next. Don't forget our live football kicking off tonight. Bournemouth, Fulham. That's us. We'll be back on Monday to pour over all the football. Danny Kelly will go game by game, and lots more besides. Until then, have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy all the live sport here on talkSPORT, and we'll see you on Monday.